El Diablo es un mentiroso. The devil is a liar. They trying to stop us. They can't stop us, man. I got my man with me today, part two. Sam, representing South Florida, Diamond Grid Comic Corsos. What's happening, Sam? What's going on, man?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm
You're gonna
going
have to say the breed name again because you butchered that. People are
Diamond
gonna
Grid
get
Comic
mad at
Corsos.
you.
Diamond Grid Comic Corsos.
There you go. Now you said
I ain't been,
something else. I never
let me
heard
say it
it.
slow. No, we gotta change it. We gotta
I'm
say
just helping you, man. People in
no,
the in
no,
this
no, no, no.
breed, they'll kill you if you
Okay.
mispronounce the name.
Diamond Grid Comic Corsos, the prototype. That's what this is. He's a prototype. He's creating the all around. He's basically creating the Corso like the Corso really should be. And not only that, he can do the confirmation too. So he not playing with y'all. So what's happening, Sam? Tell him what's happening down there, man. What's good?
How y'all doing? Glad to be back for part two. Jalik is saying too many nice things about me, but that's coming from his mouth, not mine. But we're trying to do it, man. We're trying to keep these breeds or the original function of the breed still alive. I actually been listening to some of your stuff, man. I've been, when I'm mowing the lawn and I got time, I'm putting on some of your Jalik's older hit videos. We think alike a lot, man. I like the way you think, dogs. We have a similar mentality. I've noticed a lot of people on your show that you have that talk about the Cane Corso. Not very nice. It's not usually nice, but you know what? It's all good, man. It's all good. But I yeah, no one can get mad at it. I don't get mad at it because they're not wrong. They're not wrong. They're not saying anything that ain't true. It's covered up. It's hush hush, but it won't be for long. It's gonna be the same thing that's happened to other working breeds. It's gonna be just like the German Shepherd. You take a look at a show German Shepherd, with the extreme slope. You're not getting no working dog.
Right.
You're getting a pretty dog if you like the look, but that work. The German Shepherd was such an amazing breed. That dog, talk about a one for everything type of dog. That dog could do it all. Whatever the man needed, that dog could do. I'm talking about before me and you were born.
Facts.
And I'm older than you, but still, even before I was born, because by the time I was born, they were already ruining breeds left and right. And I hate saying ruining the breed, because if it's what you like, then be happy with what you got. But that's why I said in the beginning, I'm just trying to preserve a little bit of the past, man, a little bit of what it used to be. It's the reason people, these dogs got the fame that they got and the popularity that they got. It's when people hear the stories of the past, right? Ain't nobody getting a kind of Corso because they heard that it cuddles with grandma real nice at night and keeps her warm. They're getting the Cane Corso because they saw it's this gladiator dog and he's a badass and he's fearless, courageous. Ain't nobody gonna come in your property with this dog around. It was a Roman war dog and other BS that they add onto the stories. That those are the reasons. The reasons the dog became popular. Usually, you trace it back to what its working purpose was. But as soon as it becomes popular, the first thing breeders do is breed away from that. It makes to me it makes no sense. But again, like I said, if it's if you're happy with it, if it's what you like, if you'd rather a pretty dog and that's it, you don't because I've made peace with the fact that we're in different times. You don't need a Roman war dog. Most people don't need a catch dog. So I've made peace with that. But for me and my kennel, I think I touched on it in part one of the interview that we did. My goal, my own personal goal for my kennel and my dogs is that one day, I'm not there yet. I'm far from there. This is going to be a long process because the damage has been done. But my goal is that one day, 15, 20, 30 years from now, whether I'm breeding still or not, there's going to be a line of Cane Corso that they still work, that they still function, that they're still the dog of old.
The
They're still the
prototype.
dog that you read about in those books. So that's my own personal goal. But I'll be nice. I'm not gonna say that the other dogs suck. They're just
No, you just
love
got
your
you
dogs.
got your
Love your dogs, people. Enjoy your dogs. Take your dogs to on
so look,
dog
okay,
walks.
so we're gonna start it off. We're gonna start it off hot right now. Before we get into this one right now, are you open? Because we was talking about the K9 battles, right? Because this one, I think you might have met your match though, Sam. Circle S, bro. You and Circle S, are you open to that? If I can bring in some sponsors, you and Circle S on that battlefield, bro.
Hey,
Are you
listen,
open to that?
listen. Am I down for that? You don't even gotta make it fair. I saw your video. You're like, to make it fair, we'll take them to Texas so they're not in their own turf where they're comfortable. Listen, I'll go to his turf, man. Saying it
Ooh,
right here, right now. I'll go to
okay.
his.
That'll be
Hey, listen.
classic, bro.
Oh, I mean, I would love to, man. I would love
But think
to,
about it.
man.
Won't that
I'm
make
a, I'm
Patrice? That'll make Corsos better, and then it make Dogo Argentinos better, and then make all dogs across the board better. We gotta really bring this back, y'all. We
And
gotta
it,
bring
you
it
know what
back.
I like about that, about what you're doing? I mean, I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm definitely down. But what I like about it is that it's gonna bring attention to the right dogs, man. The show dogs get all the attention. That's where all the popularity is. But whose fault is that? It ain't their fault. They're doing their thing. Good for them. They've done a great job. They're on TV. Though usually the working people are in the shadows, and they
Fact.
like it that way. They don't want to be seen. Nobody knows they exist. They have their good working dogs. Those dogs do their thing. They do their job. They grow old. Some of them grow old and die, and that's it. The world will never hear about them. So what I like about them, man, is that it would bring a lot of the attention to, in my opinion, the dogs that need it, the working lines. You know. But all jokes aside, I like Brad. I think that's his name from Circle S. Kennel.
Yeah,
Pretty sure it's
yeah,
Brad. Great. I mean, I've never talked to him personally, but if he's listening, I,
yes.
I would I would love to plan something. I mean, I'll make a trip over there, or if he wants to come here, but he doesn't want to come here, man. He's got his
He
dogos.
might be the
and
favorite too.
He's got his dogos and air conditioning, going to hunt. He don't want to come to South Florida, bro. They're gonna pass out. Come on, let's keep it 100.
Arkansas
I'm
kind of
kidding.
hot
I'm
though,
kidding.
Sam. Arkansas kind of hot too, though. Arkansas got the real razor.
Man,
It's
my
the reason
Corsos
why
are
they
gonna
brought the
step in
Razorbacks.
Arkansas and be like, "Woo, wee,
They got.
vacation."
I listen, bro. If I can't host it, I'll pay $100 on pay per view to see that. You versus Circle S. That'll be the ultimate showdown, bro. We'll see
That'd
though.
be that'd be that'd be great, man. That'll get people tuning in. It'll be, like I said, it'll be good for the breed, for both breeds. People that love dogos are still gonna love dogos.
Right.
People that love the Corso, I can promise you, you're not gonna be disappointed when you watch my Corsos. And I would love to see what these new haters come up with, man. I mean, it'll be AI or something. Oh, it ain't real. It's
Talk
AI.
about talk about the critics because I got people in my DMs like, bro, his dogs ain't really hunting like that. I'm like, bro,
Really,
I'm
you
like,
got him
bro,
that?
yeah, they saying you not
Wow.
really hunting this and this, and I'm like, bro, his I looks like his dogs is serious. I was like, you're gonna have to ask him. So speak on the critics, and a lot of critics was saying, bring up that post that they said like, it's no scars. You know what we talking about? No scars or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm not gonna mention any names, because I don't need to bring attention to them. And not to be mean, but they're nobodies, man. They're people that talk, and like, do something. Because the funny thing is, these people that talk, the bigger the critic, the less they got to show for it. They got nothing. This guy you're talking about, I try to find dogs of his. I don't see anything on his page except talk, 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 talk for freaking 10, 15 years. So he seems to talk like he's an expert on everything. My man said some stuff about hog hunting that tells me he knows what he read in a book. or saw in a video, you ain't a hog hunter, my man, because there's basic stuff that you clearly are confused about. But anyway, I don't want to bring too much attention to the hate, man, because
No,
it ain't worth it. But I'll to address it though, to
right.
for the
Yeah,
sake
we
of
can address it.
the interview and make it interesting, right? Um, I think his thing with that he doesn't believe my dogs are actually hog hunting is because they had no scars, right? That was like the main thing.
Right. That's what I seen the
They
post on
they
that.
had I hunt my dogs without a vest, without a full vest, as the cod collar, and they got no scars. Was his thing. Like that ain't real. That ain't fake. Yo gotta come on now, come on, that ain't real. That was his thing. Well, Malik can testify because before we started, somebody showed me that post. So I already had a feeling like, man, you know what? I'm gonna be on Malik's on his channel. I don't want him to think like there's any validity to these critics. So I gave him receipts. I sent it, and that was just quick, Malik. That was just going through my phone.
He
Boom,
said,
like, here's one.
I got receipts, y'all. I'm not even going to put it out there because
You
one
can't.
one thing about a person that's a pessimist, nothing you can say is going to make them believe it. Because nowadays they're going to say it's AI. They're going to say it's not real, it's AI. So he did send me receipts, y'all, like real. And I already knew, that basically they'll shut your channel down so fast nowadays. So that's why you can't even put the real stuff on there. They would literally, this your second channel, right? Don't you got a channel that already shut down before, right?
Yeah, correct. I had a channel with like 20,000, 20 something thousand subscribers when they shut it down. Funny enough, I had just finished like this dispute with YouTube because they removed a video and I was disputing it like, hey, this is within your policy, blah, blah, blah. They looked at it, they actually hit me back, and surprisingly, because usually it's a quick no, surprisingly, whoever reviewed it that day was like, yeah, we reviewed your videos. We apologize. It's going to be put back up right now. Apologize for whatever, inconveniences. You're correct. It did not violate YouTube policies. Um, they put the video back. I was shocked. Dude, within an hour, they deleted my entire channel. So they didn't give me a strike. They didn't give me a warning. They
Yeah.
didn't delete another video. Somebody else must have been reviewing something else at the same time and just completely remove the channel. So this is actually the channel that people see now is actually the second channel. So like you said, I gotta be real careful with what I show. I can't
Right.
show a little bit of blood, not even on the pig. It's freaking hunting. I can't show a little bit of. I've tried, and the thing is, I never showed anything gruesome anyway to begin with. I try
Right.
to always keep it educational. For example, I want to show people, especially the youth that has no idea how to do these things like field dress, how to field dress the pig or a deer, whatever it may be, how to prepare the meat. Can't show it. I've gotten those videos removed. I've gotten strikes. I've gotten put on timeout for a week, 2 weeks, for showing things that, my God, like everybody should know. Like things that used to be normal for a man to know, to be able to provide. It's very weird. It's very weird. What's going on? It's almost like they want everybody to be dependent. Not be able to. I won't get. I won't get superstitious, and tinfoil hat is another episode.
So Sam, take
So,
us. So I was just listening
but
to.
real quick, Malik,
Go
before
ahead.
we get
Go ahead.
off, so like to finish on that. So I did thank Malik. Just for the people that think there's any validity to that, my dogs don't have scars. All my dogs have scars. Just because you don't see it on the video, don't mean they don't. Every single dog of mine has scars, some more than others. Corsos are extremely smart catch dogs. I showed Malik, by the way. I sent him videos and photos, just recent stuff, all within a year. Um, of some of the most recent injuries. In fact, the video that man was critiquing, saying my dogs have no scars, it must be fake. Two of my dogs got new scars on that one boar. So it's all just, it's always something else. You're never gonna please everybody is one thing I've learned. And one thing I've learned being online, like exposing myself out there, is you have to expect that. I can't take it personal. I can't get upset. In the moment it upsets you because there's a lot of work that goes into this, Malik. A lot of people don't realize, man, how much work and time and effort and money goes into this. But so I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't bother me at all because you put in all those hours and hundreds and thousands of hours of work and you lose dogs behind this. For someone in an apartment to be like, oh, he's fake, it's all BS, don't believe it. Tarnish the hard work of those dogs is what really bothers me because they put their all into it, they give their life for it. But anyway, you're gonna ask me something else. I forgot what else I was gonna say. You might as well ask me.
So let's go back to, because you're a working guy too, right? But since you're manifesting the prototype, do you mind speaking? Because I peeped your page out. I was like, whoa. So you had one of your working dogs had a litter mate, but she was also doing well in the show ring as well. You mind speaking on that too?
Yeah, again, not to bring this guy up, but the hater we're referring to, the video that I guess he saw that he spoke on for being fake. I actually brought, so that was from my last, one of my last litters that I had. I kept one of the females for my working stock. She's doing fantastic, by the way. She made it. She's been tested. She's a good dog. Very just overall exactly what I want and not too extreme. She's just a balanced, well prepped package. Like it was one of those things where she got the best of the mom, the best from the dad
Mm.
in one. Normally you get a little bad from this one, a little bad from that, a little good here. It's like she got rid of the bad and just kept most of the positive from them. So my pick from that litter, couldn't be happier with her. I'm talking about Grizzly for those of you that know my dogs. And then yeah, another dog from that litter, another female went to another breeder who she does the show thing. That's her world. She's deep into that, and she wanted a show prospect. She picked. I let her pick her own puppy, her show prospect, and yeah, and she did fantastic in that world. Like within before she was even a year old, she's already a champion. A year, she's like a grand champion. I mean, she's got so many titles by now that I can't even tell you. It's not my world, but she's a grand. I know she's an AKC grand champion and other stuff, man. Other champion stuff.
So Sam,
Beautiful package, like you said. That my goal is I'm not one of those working Corso breeders or just working dog breeders in general. That the typical thing is that there's this animosity between the working people and the show people, and it is very true. I'm trying. I'm trying to, as much as I can, try to unify the two. It's very hard, Malik. It's harder than I thought it was going to be because there's so much ego in the dog breeding world. I was not aware of that. I mean, I knew there's always going to be ego with humans, but it is bad. It is worse than anything I've experienced in other avenues in real life personally that I've been a part of. When it
so
comes to dog breeding, it's really hard to bring those two people together. But that is ultimately my goal: is to have the full total package. A dog that has all the right conformation that it should. So I'm sticking to the conformation that has been set. For the standard for the Cane Corso. So I'm sticking to that as well as I can. But without losing its ability to work. For me, that is number one. Yeah, I do not care how pretty a dog is if it's afraid of its shadow, if it's a coward, if it can't engage, if it can't catch and hold, if you know that somebody breaks in your home, that dog's gonna go hide under your bed.
mm.
Breeders, I'm telling you right now, the more I've met breeders and talked with different ones and seen their dogs, breeders know which dogs are like that. Those cowards, those dogs that would have never been bred back in the days, and they're breeding them because the dog looks good and it can get a trophy. It can go into show ring. It's okay with people. It's friendly with people, It'll allow people to come up to it and touch it and check its teeth, and it's got beautiful conformation. They'll completely disregard the temperament has nothing to do with a cane corso. So that is my only critique, the only problem, and it's a big problem that I have with the show world is that they will turn a blind eye to what I consider disgusting temperament for a corso if it looks good. And then they'll lie to the public. They'll
Mm.
paint their dog as being something that it's not. They'll go along with, yeah, this is a guard dog. This is a protection dog. You got nothing to worry about. This will protect your family. Knowing damn well. They know it. It ain't no secret. They've seen their dog startle when they hear a noise. When they hear a car honk or a new stranger approaches it, they know what they have. So they'll, that is my only critique, man, is that I fear that the further this breed goes, it's not improving, man. It's getting harder and harder to find good working specimen. Because right now I'm still kind of young in my program. I'm still gathering Corsos from different lines. You wanted to speak on pedigree a little bit. You
Yeah,
told me.
pedigrees in line.
So this is a good place to bring it in, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I have people ask me all the time, right? Because they see my dogs, and my dog is nothing fake about my dogs. There's nothing fake about Knight, about Grizzly, about Ursa, about the dogs that make it in my program. They're as real as it gets. What you see on YouTube is highly edited and not to make them look good. I have to edit out the part that makes them look good. That's
Mm.
what these haters don't get. I wish I could leave the part when they're getting, when they're in a war. And a lot of that stuff I can't use. I have to edit a lot of that, or use only where everything works out well and nobody gets hurt, and just to show them work. Show as much as I can.
Right.
But anyway, to go back to the pedigree thing before I lose track of thought. Bring me back, Malik. I go
So
on the rants, man.
yeah, yeah. So the pedigree in the lines, because I hear about the Belmonte lines. That's because I'm not familiar with the lines. I heard about Belmonte. So speak on the lines, and also speak on, is your dogs, if a person buy a dog from you, are they paper? Will they be in the AKC or the other one, the FCCCI? Speak on that right there too.
Yeah, so the AKC, and I think you meant to say the ICCF.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so my Corsos will be AKC. They're registered with the AKC.
Okay.
But what I really wanted to bring up before I forget
Yeah.
regarding pedigree is that, let me go back. I have a lot of people that message me almost weekly, man. I'm not gonna say every week, but almost weekly. I have people that will message me, and they want to know what line is Knight from, what line is Ursa from, they're chasing the pedigree, they're chasing the paper, the name on the paper. So I'm trying to, and I learned this myself. Let me tell you, man. When I first started with the Corso, I did the same thing because when you don't know, you assume
Yeah.
that like, okay, like the thing I did is I was going to some of the oldest lines in the beginning. They gotta be doing something right. This is one of the most popular names. This is one of the most popular lines that I keep hearing about. I'm not gonna mention any names because I'm not.
Nah.
I want to be friendly. I want to keep it. It's already. I mean, it don't even matter how friendly I am, bro. It's already drama, regardless, and that with the breed. But I don't want to disrespect nobody, man. That's the furthest thing from my purpose being online. I just want to bring attention to the working dog. So drama will come anyway. I've learned, but I'm not gonna mention names for that reason. But so I started with some old lines, man. Some popular lines, some very well-known lines. So what I tell people, I'm trying to see how to say this nicely.
No, you
So
got
when I still,
China, you gotta keep it a bean, Sam.
I am, but I'm trying to also,
Just get that.
I don't want to crap on nobody's name either.
Nah, you don't gotta speak
Um,
your name, but I mean, you gotta speak your mind, what you feel.
yeah. So what I've been telling people that send me those messages is I don't I don't like to even share what line, for example, Knight comes from, or Ursa, or whoever, because I've been trying to educate people that what I've learned so far breeding the Corso is the pedigree does not matter. It's the individual dog that really matters. Because I have now been able to test dogs from same lines or very closely related lines, same pedigrees for the most part. And some of the dogs that I got, even myself personally, that are have been amazing and have worked out and have been really tested, put through the fire and have passed. I've tried other dogs from those lines that were horrible calls. They're dogs that would be called from my program. I mean, like they wouldn't make it. And back in the days, they would never, for the temperament, they wouldn't be bred. So, I feel like if I tell somebody, hey, I got this dog, he comes mostly from these lines, they're going to go to those lines expecting to get a Knight. And it's not going to happen. It does not work that way. So, one thing I've learned is I've changed my tactics completely. Like I said, I started out looking for some of these older kennels, these older and popular names that keep popping up. I look for individuals now. I learned early on, and it continues to be true because I continue to bring people that have Corsos and other breeds as well. But I've seen several Corsos from other people, and I'm always they come for the experience. They don't realize I'm also learning. I'm also seeing like I'm making connections between certain lines, and yeah, man, it's in a bad state. Like I was saying a minute ago, the Cane Corso's working side it's in danger. It's still in danger of being completely gone if we don't preserve it at least within certain people. So eventually that is my goal. Is I want my line to be one of those that preserved the working Corso, to bring some consistency. Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't claim to have that yet. It hasn't been long enough. I've only been doing this for 5 years or so. That's not long enough. I'm gonna need several generations because I'm getting rid of dogs. Not every dog makes it. Now, if I was like some of these breeders that every dog is awesome, every dog makes it because it's never tested, right? It makes it because it lived in its kennel its whole life. It's awesome. I'd be further along. So that's another thing I've learned. It's gonna take me longer than the average breeder probably to get really where I wanna be. And then I'll be way I'll like right now I don't even allow people to get breeding rights from me. And it's not because I'm being like, this yeah, I'm not being difficult with people. I'm
Explain
just
that. Explain that, Sam. Like the, why you don't give people breeding rights? Because people gonna want you. Your dogs are good. They like, okay, I want a dog. They hunt, but I want to be able to, because you're an asset to the Cane Corso world. So explain that because it's like you're an asset, but at the same time, by you not having the breeding rights, go ahead and explain that.
yeah, and this is just people are this is up for debate. Maybe I'm doing it right. Maybe I'm not. This is just my own personal opinion, by the way. But the I feel like I'm not doing any service to people or to my own kennel name by opening up breeding rights when the dog is not yet where I would like to see it. My dogs are, but like I said, I'm still playing with different dogs, with different lines to bring it all together, to bring bloodlines that of individual dogs, not pedigree, individual dogs that fit everything that I'm looking for. The structure, like we mentioned earlier, but most important, the right temperament, its working abilities. Once I have once I got a couple more years, man, where I've been able to, with my individual dogs that have made the program, have made the cut, have been tested, gone through the ringer, and they're still here. Now I'm putting all that together and I'm line breeding. And in some cases, once I know exactly what's in these lines, I'll do a little inbreeding here and there. Because that's another. I mean,
Because
there's
that's the
people inbreeding. There's people inbreeding that they don't know what the hell they're inbreeding, and it's causing issues because they don't know what's behind some of these lines. Behind some of these pedigrees, and there's hidden dark secrets, and behind some of these lines that you don't realize until you start inbreeding crap. Without before you know what. So it's gonna take me a while to feel secure with what I have myself in my own yard. I'm telling you stuff I shouldn't as a breeder. If I was a puppy peddler, just in it for the money, this is stuff that's not.
no.
I'm supposed to say, oh my dogs, everything that comes out of my yard is awesome. It's all 100% guaranteed. No,
People will question you on this channel because we already got the mindset of the work. Yeah, so
yeah,
we glad that you honest because like if you did say that, I was like, now if you did say that, then I'll be like, his dogs is. That's what made me realize that you got some honesty to you because everybody ain't gonna do that. If every dog is a champion and every dog is perfect, something ain't right with that breeder. You can't get away with that. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I do my best when people come for a puppy. I do place them with. Um, I talk to them. I find out what is it that you want the dog for. Are you just looking for a companion for your home, a guard dog for your family? Are you looking to, do you need a catch dog? I'm starting to get some people that want them for a catch dog. 'Cause that's a great sign. Because before, but nobody even knew they did that. So they're starting to, I guess it's starting to work, man. Being a loudmouth out there online, I guess, is paying off. Some people are starting to come to me for that. I just placed a puppy in another hunting home recently. Um, so I try to place the puppies correctly for what people tell me that they want. You're gonna do protection sport, okay? And I'll speak bluntly with them. I'll speak honestly with them if they want breeding rights. Like, look, right now I'm not giving breeding rights. I want to get my kennel to where I'm confident that what my dogs are producing, I want them to at least be producing that themselves, where I'm like at least on a semi-consistent basis, right? Because right now the problem is that it's too scattered, right? So like I'll give an example, man. I've had one of my, like, 2 litters ago with Ursa. She's a phenomenal dog, a great dog, and she proved herself. She was mostly in my old channel that got removed, but I had a lot of videos of that dog working. Great dog, but everything that's come out of her has not been great. Some have been great, and some have been, they would not live in my house. So that consistency, I'd like to see
Hold
it
on,
much
hold on.
better.
You call it some you call it some you started to be real controversial, saying you a funny guy. Hold on. They said shout out to he said, oh, what is your hold on. Let me see what my man said. Imports your dog's imports. Okay, he said pedigree don't matter. He said if pedigree don't matter, then why you don't say you hold on. It said, okay, pedigree don't matter. Why you still don't want to say who cares, speak on it? I think that's what he mean. Can you see the
Well,
comment?
because nothing that I have in my pedigree is something that I would recommend. I'm being honest. Like, if I tell somebody, a certain name because I got a dog from there that worked out, like I said earlier, I've got another stuff from there that has not been good. And other bad experiences that I don't wanna tarnish nobody's name. I don't wanna speak ill on nobody's name. I don't want to call out the crap. And I know some people want me to do that, and some people think that I should do that. I'm just listen, I'm trying to stay in my own lane. I'm trying not to make enemies everywhere I go. I know some people are gonna disagree with that. They want the drama, they love the drama. I'm not about that. I'm about, like, just keeping my nose to the ground, work with my dogs, work on my dogs and my program. The pedigree, let me also be clear. When I say pedigree don't matter, for what I'm doing, which is finding the really good dogs, I've noticed the pedigrees don't matter because, like I just told this gentleman, I've gone, I've worked with several dogs from the same pedigrees, and they're completely different. The consistency is not there.
Mm.
You have to get lucky, to be honest. You have to get lucky to land with a really good work, an actual Cane Corso. To me, most Cane Corsos are only Cane Corso by name. That's like where I'm at mentally right now. Most Cane Corsos to me have not earned that name. They're Cane Corso only by name, but not by merit, if that makes any sense. When you have a real Cane Corso, man, it's a hell of a dog. It's a beautiful freaking specimen of an animal. But what you say there?
What is it your dogs are missing since they aren't there yet? Good question. Shout out to L.
Okay, so my dogs are not missing the things that I'm gonna speak on now. That's why they're working for me. But the things that are missing a lot in the breed, there's too many fearful dogs. There's too many unstable
Mm.
dogs.
So that is okay. Okay.
That is I think that's like the main thing that I see creep up temperament wise is too many dogs that are overly skittish, that are all bark and no action. And that's something that I've experienced several times, probably more than any other issue. And it varies, like there are some that are so skittish, so scared, they will literally piss themselves and run behind a car, run
Oh,
behind you.
wow. That's
Yeah,
the
but
wow.
that's more on the extreme side.
Right.
So I'm saying it varies. What I've seen varies, but it's too common. It is way too common, man. This is supposed to be, like I said earlier, a gladiator breed. And this is why I'm saying that though my one critique, my one complaint with the show world is I hate to blame them, but the moment they got into this breed, they do the same thing that they've done with every other working breed. They start getting away from the temperament that made that dog special.
Right.
We've all heard about that. Like if you're in, breeding courses, you've heard about how breeders, since the early '90s were already, saying that the Corso was too hot. It was too much dog for most people.
Right.
It was too much dog even for the show ring. Um, they want a dog that has more of a golden retriever temperament. That's okay with people coming up to it and touching it, like I said earlier, and opening its mouth and stuff like that. So they start to breed away from the actual temperament the dog used to be known for and respected for, and start breeding something completely different temperament wise. So the look may have gotten better. The structure may have improved. That's great. That's good. Structure is important for work. But the temperament, it's hard. It's hard now to find the right temperament. So to answer that gentleman, that would be the biggest flaw that I've seen, that I've noticed, that creeps up in a lot of lines, is just the temperament is they're fake. They're not real. It's not real courage. It's not real bravery. It's bark with no bite.
Same thing Lee said. So to clear that up, I just want to say right now, shout out to my man Adam. He said any breeder that won't disclose pedigree of the dogs they produce and seems odd. So you clear that up. That you're okay. Another question. So with the dogs and the lines that you've noticing that has these major weaknesses, how are you still able to what are you tapping into? Are you tapping into like what are you tapping into to still be able to produce excellent dogs, even though a lot of the lines that you've been using not hasn't been top of the league like they should be, even with the issue. So what are you doing? Like what magic you got, man? What you doing down there, Sam? What you doing, bro? What are you
It,
doing?
I'm not doing anything other than taking the dog to work, man. I take the dog to work. I try to pick the puppies that I see that are showing me the most chances. They seem to have good drive. They seem to not be skittish. The ones that seem more curious when they're at a young age, a little more independence. I like a dog that shows a little more independence, has no, doesn't have a lot of trouble separating from the pack and checking out things, curiosity. But at the end of the day, Malik, I've kept dogs that I've later had to rehome. Um, it's not a guarantee. What I'm doing is let the dog grow, until about 7, 8 months old. I let them be puppies. I let them be dogs, have fun, play, etc. During that time, I'm bonding with the dog. I'm creating a bond with my dogs always. I'm teaching them the basics. Come means come when I tell you to come. No means no when I say no. Like by the time they're about 7 or 8 months old is when I'll start introducing them to the hunt. By then we already have a strong bond. They already know the basic commands that I need them to like really listen and respond to, because those things will actually can save them out in the field. But from that point on, it's on them. There's no magic. There's no magic pill. There's very little that I can do at that point. They need to have it or they don't. It's on them or it's not. You can't make a catch dog be a catch dog. When that thing, when it runs into a wild boar, and that wild boar is standing right in front of it, sharpening its tusks in a threatening manner, because that's what they'll do to show the dogs you're about to get messed up if you continue this endeavor. Some dogs are gonna back up and they're gonna back out of the fight, and other dogs is genetically in them. They're going head on straight into where everybody else is running. They're running too. And there's no at that point, there's nothing that I did. There's no credit that I can take. That's all on the dog. They either have it or they don't. And more so than not, most of them don't have it. When it really comes to that moment, that flee or flight moment, those instincts kick in. Most dogs are not about to fight. And those are there are some dogs also. I think I touched on this before in the first interview. There are some dogs that can fool you a little bit too, because in the beginning, not every hog hunt is a test for the dog. Some hunts, you don't get any big menacing boars. You might get a few sows. You might get smaller pigs. We do real hunts and real farms. This is not staged. There's no like pig that I just have there waiting, so I know what size. You never know what you're gonna get. It can be nothing but 50 pounders that day, or it could be nothing but 200 to 300 pound nasty rank boars that want nothing more than to kill you. You have no idea what you're going into when you step in them woods. So not every hunt is gonna be a test for your dog. So, it might take weeks, it might take months even before I see that dog. 'Cause in the beginning, the dog might have great prey drive. So it's gonna have the instinct to go get that pig. It might, especially when it sees the other dogs working at it, right? It encourages them. They have the prey drive, it kicks on. Oh yeah, and they go and they get it. Let's say a 50-pound pig. It was easy work, especially with another dog helping it. Easy work. And the pig squeals. Oh, that really activates the prey drive now, and your dog already had prey drive. Now it's like up at 100. If it would have 60 in the house, it's at 100 now. That thing's addicted now. It's like, oh my God, loved it. You bring it back next week or the next couple of days, whenever you come back, that thing is ready to go. It knows what it's there for now. Prey drive is on. It's so excited. Dogs get another hog. It's another 60, 70-pound hog. Nothing goes wrong. Boom, caught. Oh, this dog is in love with you. You think you have a superstar because third, fourth time you bring that dog is excited. It can't wait to get on a pig. One day, that dog runs into that 250-pound boar that, every dog that comes to it is getting swung up in the air, is getting cut. The dog's, yelping. Dogs realize, okay, this is not happening. The bay dogs are doing their job. They're staying back, and bang. Their job at that point is not to engage because they know they'll get killed by that thing. They will stay back, keep the boar from being able to run off, but they're not going to engage. Now, your dog that you think has been doing great and has awesome prey drive, it's going to be a one-on-one because the bay dogs are not going to engage this boar now. That's not a 50-pound little pig. That's a boar that they know, they understand. They in their instincts and their DNA, they understand that thing will kill me.
Right.
So they're gonna keep it bayed and wait for your catch dog to come in now to where everybody else knows this is death. And that dog needs to also understand that, accept it, and still engage. And if it gets beat, you saw that picture I sent you of Mars, my Corso puppy. I
Yeah,
told you that he was at 9 months right there, which was
yeah,
just like
yeah.
2 weeks ago.
He sent me receipts, y'all. I got them. You know what I'm saying? He said I could share them, but I said, you know,
You can share him, but your videos might get taken down. So
like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. People don't realize that he got receipts.
so to tie that in with what I was just saying, right? Mars, perfect example. I've been bringing him, teaching him the ropes. For those that don't know, Mars is he's a 9 month old Corso puppy, son of night. And actually, what I was just illustrating is what was happening with Mars. He got a few easy catches, a few easy hogs. Is going great. He's got crazy prey drive. I already know because I've been doing this long enough, and I see just the way dogs' behavior, their mannerisms, the intent in their eyes when it's real and when they're like a little unsure, but they go along with it. Like these little things, man, you really pick up on when you do this with dogs constantly.
Right.
I already knew this dude was for real. I already knew that I would be shocked if he fails me. Well, he got a few easy hogs, a couple, a good amount of easy hogs. I'd say at least six easy hogs under his belt. And this one night, which is when this happened, the photos that I sent you,
Yeah.
um, huge boar. I got video of that too. I haven't posted it. I might try to post it if I can edit it enough to where it won't get me kicked. I'll have to see. But on that day, exactly the picture I was just painting, he met a big boar. I had two bay dogs on the ground. They had this thing stopped. They were just baying it. They bayed it for a good, I want to say like 10 minutes because Mars was far away with my hunting buddies. They were bringing him in the side by side. By the time they got there, I was recording because I did not want to get closer either. This was a big boar, man, close to 300 pounds,
Wow.
if not 300 pounds. Big cutters on him, like probably the length of two of my fingers. Very sharp. That's the shanks, the cutters we call them. Very dangerous boar, and he didn't even want to run. That boar never thought about running, even when I was running towards it. It just looked and it stood there, sharpening its tusk. I already knew, like, oh, this boar wants to kill everything. He's not gonna run. He wants to fight. In
Wow.
fact, he was surrounded by other pigs when we first found them. When my bay dogs first found them, all the other pigs ran off. He stayed.
Mm.
He wanted that fight. He looked at them dogs and he said, "I'm gonna take y'all out. You're gonna learn today." And that's exactly the picture I was just painting for you. But it actually, I wasn't even thinking of the Mars story. But that's exactly what happened. Mars gets there. This boar is waiting for him. Waiting for him. No hesitation. Mars sees it, turns towards him. That's that moment right there. He has the same instincts as those other two dogs. He knows that that thing can kill him. You think he stayed and barked at it? That's what a lot of dogs will do. Some will just turn back and run away. Others will stay there and turn into cur dogs. I'll start barking at it. You don't want to see that from your catch dog. That freaking 9 month old ran right towards that thing and it
Wow.
was on. And he took a beating. And the photo I showed you only shows the aftermath, but he was getting flung in the air. He's trying to get a good grip, but this board was too quick for him. He didn't have enough experience, and unfortunately I didn't have night there. So it was him or nothing. It was him or nothing that day. And it, so he knocked Mars, I want to say about 3 times in the air. Boom, boom, boom,
Wow.
whooping him. You can hear sometimes a yelp because you gotta imagine a 300-pound boar, man. It's like getting hit with a bat at full swing, as hard as a man could swing it. That boar, about the third time that he swung him up in the air, looked like he was gonna run because it took off all of a sudden, but he didn't want to run away. He ran like maybe 10 yards where he had a dent.
Mm.
So it was basically just shrubs, bushes, basically, by these orange groves. I got this on video, man. This is all on video. And there's like a little hole, and it went in there into that little hole. Dark. You
Mm.
can't see in there. Dark.
Mm.
Imagine now you're that catch dog. You're 9 months old, and now you gotta after you just got whooped too, because he did not win that battle. He got whooped. He needs to decide, do I go in that dark hole with that monster that just whooped me? Just
That's
think of the mentality of
yeah.
what kind of dog it takes to do that.
That's gameness right there.
He
That's
went. It's a different type of gameness, right? It's not pit bull gameness. It's a different type of gameness. Because I know pit bull people get mad if you say that anything is game if it wasn't in a box, right? Which I could argue that too, but whatever. I'm not. That's not my world. But yeah, exactly. I agree with you. That's game. He chose death,
that is
and
game.
he went in that darkness, in that hole, and I couldn't see at that point. All I could hear was the and the boom, 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 and every now and then I'd hear it be like woo, woo, like him kind of let out a little yell, and then everything like got calm. I couldn't hear anything, and at that point, I don't know what the heck is going on. I'm like, oh my god, did my dog just get killed in there? Because all of a sudden, all that commotion stopped, and I'm like safely trying to peek in the halls. I mean, this thing can kill me like that. You saw the picture I sent you also of some of hunters here that have gotten hog injuries. Those things will kill you quick. And I'm literally next to that hole where it can just charge at me, and I don't think I'll be fast enough to move out of its way. Well, I took the risk, and I guess I moved it enough where I could some light went in, even though it was kind of dark outside as well, but enough light went in where I could see. At first, I saw the blinking light from his GPS collar, and then I saw Mars holding onto the ear.
Mm,
So I led my hunting partner that was with me there. He's got it, because he was from behind trying to find how to grab from the other side of the hall. If he could stick his hand through the shrubs and grab a leg, grab a tail, something, but we couldn't see. And we're at that point, if there's no catch dog on it, well, guess who's next? The humans are next. I'm next. He's next.
yeah.
So as soon as I told him he's on it, Morse got him. Then he stuck his hand in there where I told him, and he was able to luckily grab a tail and finally pull it out. Mars was still holding on to that freaking boar. Never let go until we had it flipped and controlled, and then I had to yank him off basically. And that's when I noticed he got messed up pretty good. So tell me to answer your question. What did I have to do with that? What do you think I could have done to train that puppy to do that? I can't take no credit, man.
I think because I'm looking at the comments, I think there's some type of confusion based on the lines that you're using and how you're able to performance select. So that's what I'm hearing, that you admitting that some of your lines aren't good, which requires you to call people, guys. If you're not calling the bed,
Okay.
you're not a
Yeah.
great producer, so you're not going to improve. So he's using performance selection and culling to improve the lines that he has, which is correct me if I'm wrong, Sam. Is
Yeah.
that
Let me try to be more clear because I'm not
yeah,
sure what
yeah.
maybe I'm not speaking clearly.
You're saying that
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So think of it like this, guys. Nobody, at least in the Corso breed, is breeding these dogs for this type of work anymore. Almost all of them, the majority of them, are show dogs. That's where they get most of their credibility, right? As being, worth X amount of money,
Right.
is from their accomplishment in the show world. Then there's a small percentage that do protection sports and stuff like that, a very small percentage.
Yeah.
So my point is, it doesn't matter what lines I go to, none of those dogs have been tested. So I can get something like I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast. I went to lines in the beginning that I thought, this is the place to go because they got X amount of years. They're very popular. They're one of the most famous lines in the Corso breed, etc. Thinking that was going to give me, what I wanted. And I quickly realized that in the Corso breed, there's no consistency right now from what I've seen, right? Again, I've been doing this, I've been breeding Corsos for 5 years. So I don't, I don't have the experience of someone that's been doing it for 30 years. But from my experience so far, even within the same lines of dogs, you're going to get all kinds of stuff. You might get a dog that's really good, and his litter mate sucks, and that's very common. It's very inconsistent. So, like Jalik was saying, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get the dogs that are really good, that have been tested and proven, like the story that I just said of Mars that just happened like 2 weeks ago. Those are the types of dogs that I need, that I want to proceed in my program, right? So who else is doing that? No, nobody else is doing that. The only way for me to get there, and again, this is, I'm doing it the old school way. This is the way that the other hog hunters have always done it. You know, you, like Jalik was saying, you test dogs, you try dogs, you keep the ones that work, you call the ones that do not work, and from there you start, your program. You start breeding what works to what works to what works to what works. In the beginning, that does not bring consistency, but eventually, when you continue to do that, you're slowly, even those old lines that have the inconsistency, they're diminished every generation. Next generation, the next 3 4 years, I should have more consistency than my previous 3 or 4 years. The 3 or 4 years after that, if I continue to do that, breed only dogs that have been tested and have worked, eventually you're going to get to a point where you never have a litter that's 100%. Not every dog ever in any breed, no matter how much, there's always going to be calls in every litter. But the consistency is going to improve dramatically from what it is now.
That
I
makes sense.
hope that I explained it a little bit better there.
I understand it because that's the first thing I started to understand. Because, like I say, I'm not no expert in this stuff. Breeding, I never bred a dog, but that's what kind of made me be attracted to the American Sentinel. Lee always talked about culling and performance selection, and even him, he would talk about the
Maybe
line.
that's a good way to say it. Selecting performance, not selecting pedigree, not selecting line, selecting performance.
Right. If you're not doing performance selection and you're not doing culling, none of the lines doesn't really mean anything. That's what he's basically trying to tell you. So that doesn't mean anything, because just because your great 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 granddaddy was this, whatever it was, that don't mean that your current dog is. And that's what happens, that I'm seeing in the dog world, that they're so focused on the lines. Now it is a marketing strategy because it gets you to sell, but in the working dog world, that's
Yeah.
why we got the slogan over here: performance over pedigree. Nobody cares, like, the lines. After a while, if they can't perform, it doesn't mean anything.
The only time that, again, in my experience, the only time that a pedigree or a line of dogs matters is if somebody had been doing this already before me. Like if I had access to talk with the people in Italy, before World War II, right? Because that's about when the breed started going downhill. So if I had access to talk with those hog hunters and farmers from back then, they had lines that were all proven, that all worked, that all functioned. But even, then again, they weren't keeping tracking lines like we do now. They didn't breed like we do now.
Right.
So most dogs, you had a good chance of getting a good working dog because they bred only for performance, only for work. It completely changed. After World War II, that's when most working breeds just started to go downhill, because they started for breeding for show instead of performance and utility and actual work.
So
But
so
eventually, if there was a line, like that's what I hope to be one day. Like to bring it back to what I said in the beginning, that's what I aspire to do with my lines, is get it to where one day, I'm not there yet, but one day I want my line to be that line that people can point to and say there is consistency in Diamond Grit's lines for working purposes.
I think
You
you on
want
your
a
way.
catch dog, you want a guard dog, you want a protection dog, you want the consistency, a higher percentage of that, you go to that line. That's what I want it to be known for. But right now, at least in my experience so far, I haven't found any line that has that with the Corso. There are great Corsos there, obviously, because I've been able to find some, but it's a coin toss because they're not. Who else is putting their dogs through these kind of tests? Who else gets to see what I saw with Mars that day? There's only one way to find out. right? Just like in the pit bull world, not to, talk about any illegal activities that went on back then, but
Uh,
there was only one real way to find out, right? If you had a pit bull, or if he only had the pit bull name.
so, guys, smash the thumbs up. I'm here for part two with Sam from Diamond Grit Cane Corsos. Performance over pedigree. We got to keep repeating it. And also, if somebody says performance over pedigree, that doesn't mean that pedigrees doesn't matter, because we understand that you
Right.
have to have consistency with line breeding and outcrossing and different things like that. So another question. Shout out to my man L. That's my homie right there. What do you do imports? Do you do imports?
Um,
Do you
not right now. I never got into doing imports and everything. I've been kind of lazy on that.
so you
I don't breed a whole lot. I don't breed like I'm not like a commercial level breeder. So usually when I have a litter or two in the year, I find people in the USA that come and pick up their dogs locally. I haven't really done any imports, and it's more, from everything I've heard, it's a lot more complicated now than it used to be. So I'm not sure if I'm even gonna do that, at least
so
in the near future.
So you saying that you feel like with consistency and you being consistent that you can still create the prototype Cane Corso without having those without adding the Italian bloodline, because I hear that too. I don't know what it means, like people, because a lot of people like this guy. I got the real stuff from Italy. So do you feel like you can do it without having quote unquote whatever the real stuff from Italy is?
My dogs come from Italian lines. You don't have to go to Italy to get the Italian dog. That's what's here in America.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
But with that being said, there is that separation, right, in the Corso community, where you got the people that claim that they got the American Cane Corso.
okay.
Um, that's a whole. I mean, you had Dave on here. You had David.
Yeah, shout out to Dave the Rebel. Yeah. Old World Connie Corso. Yeah.
So he's one to talk to about that. That's not my thing. Um, that to me is just it's just I don't want to even get into that, man. That's more drama when you talk about that, but I don't like it. I'll just say that I know just saying that people aren't gonna like the people that are, because people are very like when they're into their niche, into their thing, they get very upset if you say anything, man. So from my experience, I've seen some of those dogs in person. I haven't had good experiences. I'll leave it at that. They're not. I haven't seen one yet that can make my cut, that can make my program. The best that I've seen are from Italian lines. They have a better structure for work. They've had a better temperament for work. They've been more stable than a lot of those American lines.
Mm.
And that's also not to say that all the Italian or all the European stuff is good. Again, the consistency is everywhere now. Because they're not breeding for work anywhere. Even in Italy, they don't do what the breed was created for over there anymore. In fact, I believe it's illegal now for them to use catch dogs. And they got a lot of hogs. They got a lot of wild hogs in Italy. It's actually a problem there, from what I've heard. And it's a woke culture everywhere in the world, I guess now, man. So I'm
Okay.
very blessed. I'm very lucky that.
More. So now I'm understanding even more. Shout out to my man Adam. He said, "What's the size? What's the size of your dogs, Sam? What's the size?"
Well, I like my dogs. I like my males no bigger than 120 pounds. So I like my males anywhere from 100 to 120. They can work. And anything past that, you really start to get diminishing returns per se. Like it starts taking a real toll on their cardio. So even if they have the right genetics, the right temperament to be a catch dog, they don't have the durability, they don't have the cardio, they don't have the air to be able sustain certain battles, sustain chasing a wild hog that got away. You know, maybe you let it out, it wasn't that far, and your catch dog gets to it and it broke. When we say broke, we mean like it wasn't a good grab right off the bat. These hogs are huge, man. Not every time the catch dog grabs, it's perfect. You know, like Mars in the story I just said, the reason he got thrown in the air like 3 times is because every time he went to grab that head or that ear, the hog is timing it. They're extremely smart. They fight their entire life. These boars fight each other every day. They know how to fight. They know how to get dogs off of them. And you know, like anytime a boar breaks, if it takes off running, and you got a Corso that, I love these people saying, my Corso's 150 pounds and he's super agile and he can run for days and stamina forever. I've never seen it in person. That's what everybody thinks who has never actually worked a dog in a real situation, in a real environment where where there's all the whatever elements of nature, uneven terrain, heat and humidity that we have here in South Florida, and the battle itself. Even a short battle will wind a dog to exhaustion quicker than most people realize. So when things don't go perfectly, and you got a dog, usually I've noticed that anything over 120 pounds, they have a real hard time. They struggle to be able to sustain. Man, honestly, 5-10 minutes and they're done. And I've had many times where my dog has had to be engaged with a wild boar for 20 to 30 minutes. Many times. Most dogs that are over 120 pounds, like never, man. And they'll if there's a situation where I can't get to them for that long, for 20-30 minutes, that dog is dead by the time I get there. So that's why, for working purposes, males 100 to 120 pounds, that's the ideal spot for me. Because that's lean. You guys got to understand. Most of you do not have your Cane Corso or your Presa or your Borbo, whatever dog you got. Most of you do not have them at the weight, at the condition that my dogs are in. And that's not to say we're awesome. I'm just saying, like, our dogs are very lean. So when I have a male that's 110 pounds, I'm talking about lean, ripped, a fitness machine. If I put him at, for example, if I put that same dog that's 110 pounds for work, what we do, and I decide I want to take him to the show ring, I can't show that dog at that weight. They'll think like, what the heck? I have to feed that dog like crazy. That dog that's 110 pounds for a good show weight would probably be 100 and 130 to 135 pounds, and that would be nice for them. Which to me looks fat, but my eyes are be accustomed to something else. You know what I mean? So when I say 110, 115, 120 pound working weight, that's a big dog.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
not a small dog. Knight is not small. He's just not huge. He's big enough to where he's able to work.
And just I want to say, 115-pound dog that's in shape is going to be stronger than the dog that's 130, 140 that's not in shape, because
Oh,
your
100
strength
pounds.
is
Mhm.
directly related into your stamina. You can bench press 500, but another person can bench press 360. But if the person bench pressing 360 got more stamina, they still gonna outwork you. I mean, that's just basic. That's just
Yeah.
basic right there.
Yeah. When your 150-pound torso is exhausted and can't keep up with, can't fight anymore, he's about to collapse. Knight, my male that's 110 pounds right now, Knight is not even warmed up. And that's being completely honest. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen dogs that I brought, as guests that are like about to have a freaking heat stroke. I gotta tell them, let them know, like, hey, let's put your dog away. Let's let it cool down because it's getting close to that point where it's dangerous. And it hasn't even been a warm up for my dogs yet. That's common, man. That's every time. That's so common.
So for those who didn't see part one, Sam said Sam is really, this is why I like Sam. Sam is not running from no smoke. Sam said he's so confident in his Corsos in the hunting that he'd go against some American pit bull terriers. And just so y'all know, the place where if I decide to test my puppies on some pigs, he been doing it for years. He said himself he said the American Pit Bull Terrier is the best catch dog, but the only problem is sometimes they can't get along. So if he's willing to battle against some pit bulls, I mean, you can't hate on a guy's confidence. I want to see that because
Listen, the American Pit Bull Terrier, I always say this, is what I was talking about, the issue with the Corsos, the consistency, right? For me, the hard part has been finding that consistency. And that's one of my main goals is getting that in my own lines, consistency for a working dog. The best thing about the American Pit Bull Terrier is their consistency. So if somebody was to ask me, hey man, I want a great catch dog, I want to get into this thing and I need a good, dependable catch dog that I can count on, would do you recommend a Cane Corso or American Pit Bull Terrier? I'll tell them go get a Pit Bull Terrier. I'm not going to tell them go find a Corso because the chances of finding a good Corso that can do that type of work, I don't know, one in anywhere from 1 in 20 to 1 in 30. A Pit Bull Terrier, probably 1 in 4. You're very. It's a good, very good odds. You know, I'm talking about like. Let's put it in case. I guess let's do like if it was a litter of 20 puppies you had to pick from. Oh man, you probably get. I would say, man, you get a good bit. A lot of them are going to turn out to be good if it's American Pit Bull Terrier.
probably
But if it's the Corso, it's worse than a coin toss. It's less than 50%. You know.
Be honest with y'all. Y'all smash the thumbs up, man. I got Sam right here. He got some, he said, did you have something to say? I want to get to this.
I was going to say, but where I'll put my Corso, so back to my trash talk, right?
Yeah.
Because you like that, my league. You want to put us against each other. I'll give you some drama for your channel. So I'm not talking about just, as far as the breed itself in general, Pit Bull Terrier, way higher percentage to get a good catch dog than a Corso, than any breed, honestly, than a Presa, than a Dogo Argentino. It don't matter. The Pit Bull Terrier is going to give you the highest percentage. Now, when it comes to my Cane Corso, I'll put that against a Pit Bull for a catch dog. Because tell me what a Pit Bull does. This is what I actually had this conversation like a week or 2 weeks ago with a hug hunter over here. Because that is their dog of choice, And I told one of them, tell me what a good American Pit Bull Terrier does that my Cane Corso does not do. They do all the same things that are required of the job. The same gameness, the same ability and willingness to engage, disregard for their personal life to engage the threat. They lock on, they're not letting go. The same abilities. So everything that the Pit Bull does, my Cane Corso does. Now I can tell you where there's things that the Corso has an advantage that the Pit Bull can't. There's nothing it can do.
Go ahead and speak on it.
So a Corso, for example, when we get a 300-pound boar, people don't realize, man. There's people that throw around that number like it's most people that take a picture and say it's a 300-pound boar. It's not. A 300-pound boar is massive because that thing is 300 pounds of muscle, shield, armor,
crazy stamina,
intelligence. A 300-pound boar. Well, what we say is an average weight of a Pit Bull in shape for work like that?
40 to 50
40 pounds, right? 40. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, it'll ride that thing wherever the hell it wants. It'll carry a 300-pound boar will carry a 40-pound dog like a purse. And so what I've experienced, what I've seen with the Pit Bull when it happens to be in a huge boar like that, is the dog gets hurt a lot more. Pit Bulls die a lot more often. They get killed way more often. Now they are game, and they'll stay engaged. Most of them, I mean, some of them will also. They have a limit where some of them, every now and then, you do see a Pit Bull, even one that's been on many hogs, that one day just gives up on it. But anyway, the ones that stay engaged, they die very often, man. They die very often because they don't have the physicality. Their heart is there, their heart is there, the grit, the gameness is there, but the physicality sometimes is not there to match a monster of that size. And you see them getting swung like crazy, like nothing. It's nothing to that boar. And in the process, the other dogs, the bay dogs, oftentimes they'll try to help. Once the catch dog gets there and grabs it, the bay dogs will come and try to help. They'll try to grab the leg, the other ear, and they'll assist in the catch. What happens is oftentimes you get bay dogs hurt or killed with a big boar because the pit bull cannot control that head. It's got a hold of the ear. The reason that catch dogs should grab the ear, usually instinctively they do this. The good ones will instinctively go for the ear or the neck, but normally the ear is a good gripping point. Is because it controls the weapon. What can kill you is in the head. The head is where those weapons are that's going to kill your dog. So when the dog has a hold of that head, he's controlling. It's like someone with a knife trying to stab you, and you grab a hold of the wrist. You know, and he's trying. As long as you grab a hold of that wrist and don't let go, there's a good chance you're going to be okay. Everybody else is going to start coming and helping you, and you'll be okay. Right? Let's say you're 100 pounds. You're a 100-pound man, and freaking the mountain from Game of Thrones comes to stab you. You can barely grab that damn wrist, and that man can just swing you like this.
Mm-hmm.
He can just swing you up and down every which way. How safe are you from that knife, from that blade? Eventually, he's gonna get you. Eventually, eventually, boom, he's gonna get you again. And the dogs that are coming to help, they're getting it too, because they're not being able to control the weapon. So that's basically what I'm trying to illustrate. The Cane Corso in that same scenario on that same boar will grab onto that thing, and it's more of an anchor. It's way more powerful, way stronger. It's not even comparable. And that's not to hate on the pit bull. Pit bull, like I said, percentage wise, you want a good catch dog, that's the way to go. But physically, sometimes physically their heart is bigger than their body, than what they're physically able to do. And that's where I say if my Corso does everything the pit bull can do, then the overall package of the Corso is going to be the better dog for a catch dog.
I like
Because
the way
they have the stamina. They also waste less energy, by the way, because the pit bull's going to waste all the energy holding on to hogs because they're smaller. Again, the same illustration. You know how much strength does it take if you're if it's a girl that's trying to stab you, an 80-pound teenage girl from from middle school, and she's trying to stab you, you're gonna hold that with one arm, like pretty relaxed, and she's not.
Yeah.
But again, now it's Game of Thrones. The giant from Game of Thrones. You're holding with both arms. Your entire body is tensed up. Your back, your leg muscles. You're using everything in your power to be able to, and you're gonna expend a lot more energy. So that's where I notice these differences. That's where I say like people sleep, and I get it, man, because nobody's doing it, right? Nobody's doing it, so I get it. They're all gonna sleep on the Corso. That's why your buddy with the pit bull can get it. Circle S can get it. Who else you want?
Circle S, because his dogs is in shape too. Now,
Nah,
can
maybe.
can we admit though that since
This
he's
is all fun and games, guys. I'm not.
favorite, right?
I'm all for anybody working their dogs. I love it. Respect it.
Circle S would be the favorite, bro, against you. Can we admit that? The betting line, Circle S gonna be the favorite because he got dogos. Can we admit that? So you gonna be the dog.
I love it.
If you was to win that one, that's gonna make the Corso as a breed. That's gonna be a lot. That's like some positive news as a whole. So that's not bragging rights for you, but as a whole, the Corso, that's gonna change the whole mindset of the Corso. Like these Corsos is really about that. So you're gonna shoot off, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have your own show, you know what I mean? You might get Hollywood Sam, you know what I mean? Get your little chalet show.
Listen, man, a good Cane Corso, like I said in the beginning of your show, I've been hearing people, guests that you've had on, just trashing my Corsos, man. And I can't, it hurts a little because I love the breed, but I can't hate it because they're not wrong. They haven't seen it. But I'm telling you, and I'm happy to show this to anybody because I've made believers in people that have come in person. I've made believers of many people, and I love it because it's always the same experience. That's always like, wow. I made believers of hog hunters here. They're the hardest ones to convince.
Right.
The hardest ones to convince. The Cane Corso, bro, when you find a good one, a real one that is actually, like I said earlier, not a Cane Corso by name, but a true Cane Corso by what the dog was. Man, it's such an awesome specimen of a dog. It's an awesome freaking animal.
Now, Sam, so you know, on my channel too, we into that protection work. Now you do the hog hunting. Speak on the protection work if somebody comes to you. So with the you know how to pick puppies out. So what are you looking at if a client say, I want to use my dog for protection and just say predator defense, not necessarily hog hunting? What are you looking at in the puppies compared to a puppy that you feel like could be strictly for hog hunting? How do you decipher that? How do you break that down?
Well, you tell me. Like in this case, I would like to pick your brain on it because I'm not. I want to eventually do that as well, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
I've put puppies in hands for confirmation shows, and I'll probably continue to do that. Let some people do that.
Mhm.
I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Um, there's someone that's doing some protection work with one of the puppies, so we'll see how that turns out. Um, but the way I see it, right? A good working dog, in this case, let's stick to what I do. A good catch dog has all of the attributes that I from because I don't do protection stuff. I don't do the agitation and all that. That's not my field. But from everything that I've listened to, because I listen to a lot of dog talk, a lot of dog podcasts, a lot of the guys in that field, and it seems like they're looking for the same attributes that I am. So when I find a good catch dog, I'm finding a dog that has the physicality to be able to do it, that has the right temperament where he's not skittish, he's not scared. Quite the opposite. He's extremely brave. He's extremely confident. I'm looking for a dog that has great prey drive, obviously. In my Corsos, I mentioned that I think in the first interview that we did, I also look for some defense drives in my dogs as well. I like my Corsos to be as the breed always was, I believe, which is super lovely with their family members, but very distrustful of anybody outside of their circle. I
Okay.
believe I told you some stories of how my Corsos behave. Obviously, my Corsos are not, an attack dog, right? So I don't want to train them to, in the way that some of these protection guys do, kind of like the Malinois, style of training where they're sending them off to attack people. I like mine. What I do like to see in mine is that when we're in our home, in our property, nothing comes in there, whether it be animal or humans. If anything comes in that's not the family,
Mhm.
they lose their crap. They are barking. They're going at the fence. They have what I call a
Sentry.
threat display, extreme threat display. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's snarling. They're trying to eat that fence. They're letting you know, like back off, get away from me. That's an alarm system for me, right? So that's all I need. Um, so they have that defense to them. I've never tested that side out, so I can't. I'm not gonna claim nothing, right? That's not what I have my own personal dogs for. In the property, nobody's crazy enough to go in there though.
Right.
Just that threat display alone, like you gotta be on drugs or out of your mind to be like, let me go in there and see if they really mean it or not. I've never done that. I've never had anybody go in there with a suit, so I can't speak on that. But they have that. My point to you is, I'm looking for all those attributes,
So
right? So
the
the play drive, defense drive, physicality, um,
nerves,
the,
confidence,
the nerves, thinking, the confidence.
because you
What are you looking for? This is where I wanted to pick your brain, and because the way I'm thinking, these are all the same attributes that you would want if you were picking a protection
Yeah,
puppy or a guard dog, correct? Or is there something that
that's
maybe doesn't
that's true.
correlate?
But since and like I said, I'm not an expert, but I'm just add on to it. Since dogs have been domesticated for so long, their natural inclination to go hunt humans has basically been bred out of them.
Hmm. I
So
agree.
it's actually, in my opinion, since it hasn't been bred out of some dogs has, but some hasn't. It hasn't been bred out of them to hunt animals. So it might be easier for them to go after a animal than a human because that's genetically not supposed to do that.
I
So for
agree. Yeah.
in addition to do that one, but still will protect their family, that takes another level set of nerves, and that takes another level mentality. Like, I'm not going to play no games with you, and at the same time still be stable, because we know we don't want no dog that's just unstable, that'll bite anything out of fear or just bite your kids. That's not cool. You get those, you can't be around you biting kids.
Yeah, I
So
don't want unstable.
no,
That's
yeah.
just unstable dog. Yeah. I
So
agree. Oh, I agree, man.
so a lot of times some now each we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna do a live tomorrow about the performance issue of K9. Is it the dog's fault or is it the handler's fault? Now with the protection work, from what I'm saying, is the nerves gotta be even higher depending on what level you're trying to do. But then you have some people. Shout out to my man Tabari. He was like, just for century work, your nerves don't got to be that perfect, because a lot of those scenarios that they be showing with all the different sports stuff, that's usually not in real life. So the ability to
Yeah.
stay in the fight too. That's what always Lee said. The ability to stay in the fight. So just a confident dog overall, because like
Which gets demonstrated. What else demonstrates that more than a hog hunt battle? Like some of the cases, some of the stories that I've told you, they have to stay engaged in that fight. They cannot quit.
yeah.
Quitting. I mean, they're done. They'll never hunt again.
So as you yeah,
But I totally agree, and I have seen that. I have seen dogs that have the prey drive and all of those attributes that I mentioned. But when it comes to humans, you're right. It's not natural.
yeah.
They naturally,
Mm-hmm.
humans are
Yeah.
out of touch. We're separate from the rest of the
Yeah.
animal kingdom. They see us. There's a instinctual difference with the way they look at humans. And you're completely right. It doesn't always mean that. I think I did mention in the last interview too that just because it has all of those attributes and makes a great catch dog does not guarantee that it's
Right.
going to translate as well towards a human. Because you're completely right on that point. I have seen that myself. In fact, I rehomed a dog that had all the attributes that I needed for a catch dog, and I rehomed him because he showed me like it was very obvious, it was very clear, and I'm not one of those breeders that's gonna be kennel blind and ignore something that I'm seeing with my own eyes. He was fearful with humans.
Yeah. And I'm
Not
glad.
not like extreme where he's pissing himself like I've seen other
Yeah.
dogs, but enough where I know I can't
Yeah.
trust you. If
Yeah.
somebody breaks in here, you're not gonna I can't. Like he showed it when it came to hog hunting, he was doing great. I mean, I was still testing him, but he was doing great. He was all those attributes he was demonstrating. But when it came to humans, and I noticed that because again, like I said, I I bring a lot of people out. I have a lot of guests, and I started noticing it when new people were
Yeah.
around him. He was acting very skittish around people, so I started to test him at home,
Mm-hmm.
seeing how he would behave when I had new people come over and approach him and get closer, just to
Yeah.
push it a little, see, and yeah, and I did not like what I
To be
see.
honest with you, yeah, that you tested it. That dog wouldn't be able to do protection. You basically kind of done the test, and he failed. So, and then that's a
And I could hide that easily because I'm not doing protection stuff. I'm doing hog hunting, right? And if as long as he makes it for hog hunting, nobody needs to know that. But that's not my goal ultimately, and that comes from some lines. To bring it back to Corso lines, right? That
Mhm.
comes back, and I've actually, yeah, I hate to bring it up again because that other guy's gonna want me to start naming names again. but I actually feel very confident about what Corso lines that comes from. that skittishness that came out in that particular dog. Because there's other dogs, several other dogs that I, quite a few other dogs that I have seen from that same line
Mm.
that demonstrate the same skittish towards human crap, man. Very skittish with humans.
Yeah, that would.
And they look impressive and they're big and all that. They look the part, right?
Right.
But they've almost all of the ones that I've met from those lines or with those lines in them have demonstrated to have those same traits, man. Skittish with human. So you know,
So you
in
doing
some ways pedigree does matter, right? Because I've been able to, like, okay, this is popping up over and over with these certain lines, so I'm gonna start avoiding that. I'm gonna make sure I breathe away from that.
you
You
already.
know, so
I got a feeling that people, just I don't know. Like I got a feeling that people that want the guardian and to do the protection work is going to be reaching out to you, and that's good that you can see that now. Yeah, yeah. So that's good that you know.
I would love for more people, if you're interested in that and you're into the Corsos. There are some kennels too that very few, because a lot of people just do fake bite sleeve crap. That is just a game of tug. It ain't real. That is not proving any damn thing. There's a lot of people doing that for the sell gimmick, just for a gimmick, to say that their dog is this and is that, and it ain't. And sometimes those are the same dogs that I see be skittish. But
Mm,
you trained it as a puppy. You got it biting a sleeve. You got it playing a freaking game of tug. That dog in its mind is not doing no protection work. That dog is in its mind is playing a game that you've trained it to play. So I just tell people that to say, make sure that you're looking when you're looking for that. There are kennels that are doing it correctly. There are some kennels that I've noticed, very few, but there are some people that appear to be doing actual like scenarios where they're putting
yeah,
some pressure on the dog, like
yeah.
trying to as much as you can, because you're not gonna put pressure on a dog the way a hog is, because that's real. And the name of the game is kill or be killed. Obviously, with human work, you can't, beat the crap out of a dog to the brink of death, that you can't do that. So there's obviously a fine line there of how much you can do when you're doing protection work. But there are people that I notice do a lot more scenarios where it takes the dog out of its element, where the dog is not in its home. It's not in a place that it's been 100 times. It's not, the owner of that dog is not the one holding the sleeve. It's some stranger it's never met. Like all the, you just gotta look for something that looks to be legit, looks to be real. Do your homework on the people, on the kennel. See what they've done in the past, etc. But yeah, if you don't go with one of those and you like what I'm doing and what I'm saying about what the attributes that I have in my dogs, this is what it takes to make a catch dog, and it's no easy feat. It's very hard work. I would love to have more people approach me for working purposes. Doesn't have to be hog hunting because most people don't hog hunt. I know, but I'd love to see some of my dogs go to more.
I want to see it too because yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be but then once you do that, when it gets kind of tricky because uh certain dogs don't play with humans at all. So if you take them on a hog hunt too, and you might be with other people, then sometimes you
well,
may
that's why I'm not doing it. Yeah, not yet.
it gets tricky.
Yeah.
You haven't been doing that, but say if you did start doing that,
Mm-hmm.
have to have only some of your dogs. You got to keep them separated. Like they doing protection. That's it. Don't even take them on a hunt.
Well,
Not.
but here's the other thing, Jalik, to just to play devil's adversary there.
Mhm.
Or and you're right. I've thought about that, by the way. So I'm not saying you're wrong because I have thought about that, and it's been a worry of mine. But one other thing I love about the Cane Corso is how smart they are, man. They're extremely smart, and they're able to differentiate
Okay.
when it's time to work and when it's time to turn on and to turn off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great example. My own dogs. I'll use them as a great example.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, great prey drive on them. They're all proven hog hunting catch dogs, so they got the prey drive. I mean, some got really high prey. There's levels to prey drive. Some got really high prey drive. Others got good amount, enough to work. Right. Even my my Corsos that got really high prey drive, I bring them to a farm with animals and they turn off.
Oh wow,
I,
that's
I got I got sometimes I'm feeding night. It was like at a 10 prey drive, you know?
yeah,
I'll say a 9. I heard Lee once say no 10 because 10 is like perfection, and he's right. But you know what I mean? Very high prey drive dog, very high prey drive Corso. He's like my most proven Corso right now. Most most people know my black dog. Um, Man, I'll be feeding that dog his food, which is I feed them raw, and sometimes I'll have like some chickens come over and start pecking at it. He'll growl. He'll be like, "Hey." He won't mess with them. He won't mess with sheep. He won't mess with the cattle.
now
He
that's where
he knows,
that's actually great because
and
when you,
that's
yeah, because some dogs you're not gonna be able to do that. You're not gonna be able to do that.
no.
So that like they say the curso.
Another reason they're better than the pit bull terrier for all you pit bull terrier people. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I
because
love
that
the pit bull.
certain dogs you ain't gonna do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Certain dogs, I'm telling you right now, you ain't gonna do that.
But you're right though, man. But you're right. It has been a concern. I didn't want to do that on my own, like start doing agitation with humans and stuff. Because I'm like, first of all, I don't got the time right now. When I dive into something, I go all in, man.
yeah,
So whenever I do have time in the future to get into that, I would probably like to go do something like foreign protection sports. Like I'm talking about,
yeah.
title,
Or just the
Um,
real protection without the sport part, like you said, real life though.
but yeah, but I do real life already. My dogs are literally. The last time I was here, actually, that just reminded me. You asked me about how they are with like protecting the farm with like wild
Yeah,
animals and stuff, dude. A
yeah, yeah,
few, a few days after that interview, I wake up at like 2 in the morning because my dogs were going crazy. They normally they sleep through the night. They don't make a peep. And also, when your dogs bark by their bark when it's serious and when it's BS,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Man, they woke me up. They were going crazy. My dumbass, I don't know why I did this because normally when I know it's something serious that's got them up, I go out there, ready. You
yeah.
know, I went out there. I must have been real tired, man. I went out there in freaking sandals and my tidy whities out in
Wow,
the dark. And I don't know why. I just assume I'm like, let me just check it out. It's probably nothing, just some, raccoon or something. I'm thinking. And I go out there. It's dark. I live out in the middle of nowhere in a farm, and it's real pitch at night. And I get close enough where I can yell at them because they're a pretty, decent distance, not super far, but they're a distance away. And I get closer so I could yell at them after I check out the surrounding, make sure there's nothing that I see. I get closer, I don't see anything. So I yell, okay, quiet, quiet. Dude, when I did that, these yellow glowing eyes, about 6 feet up in the air, turned towards me. It was a freaking bear. Yeah, I'm like, no way. I got nothing. I'm in my tidy whities here. All I got is this sandal.
wow.
But the dogs, that threat display,
Right. That
that
helped.
thing was like, all right, I don't want this is not worth it. There's easier meals out there.
Yeah,
And they just took off. So I was like, damn, I was thinking of you the next day because I'm like, damn, Nick was just asking me. That's the first time
yeah,
a bear has come in. Because
yeah.
normally just having them there, I hardly ever have any issues with any wild animals. They stay away. And all around me, my neighbors get, even wild hogs. Like we got wild hogs everywhere. And they'll get their backyard destroyed every once in a while. They'll wake up and their whole front yard is just destroyed, rooted up.
Wow.
Or chickens, 12, 15 chickens got killed over the night. I got none of that. Zero issues. Just having them there. Just
Right.
so in a sense, I already do real life, man.
Yeah,
You
well, yeah,
know,
yeah. You got the predator defense. I would
I
love to.
got the foot.
If one of y'all get a Corso, make sure and y'all do protection work. Let us know. We want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I think you can do it because you're already planting the seeds.
I definitely will in the future. I just can't right now because that's gonna consume a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I definitely would love to in the future. Like I said, I'll probably do more of the sports just to like. What's like the real tough sport one now? The title, like IGP, is that like the tough one
PSA.
now?
IGP, you gotta also do tracking. So PSA, you
Okay.
don't gotta do tracking. PSA, that's still usually two. It's either IGP or PSA. They got other ones like French Ring, but PSA one, two, and three.
I'll have to learn. When I get into something, I get all in, man. I go all in. That's why
Yeah,
I
that'd
can't
be
get into
amazing.
them now. I don't got time. I barely have time already.
That'd be amazing. I heard the guy Oscar Moro, and I seen him on documentary TV. I heard that he took I don't he might have got level one on IGP with a Corso. So it's not like it's not out there. So let me ask you this, Sam. Since this is kind of start our topic up for tomorrow. If you get a puppy, say if a client was to get a puppy and they bring it up properly without putting too much pressure on them fast, and the puppy doesn't perform, do you think it's more of the puppy's fault, or do you think it's more of the handler's fault? If you get a puppy that's eventually going to do some hog hunting, because I'm sure there is a you have your style of doing it, but I'm sure there's ways to do it that can mess up the puppy and prevent them from being good at it.
Well, and you're the way you phrased it. You said they bring up the puppy correctly. They don't rush it.
Yeah, yeah,
They're letting the puppy grow,
yeah.
develop. They bring it up correctly. That's the way you phrased it. If they start to do it right, they start to correctly train it, because there's a correct way and there's a way that you'll ruin the dog in hog hunting as well as in protection, guard dog work, whatever the case may be.
Right,
People have that happens a lot in hog hunting. There's a lot of guys even in hog hunting that don't know how to raise a dog. A lot of hog hunters that they've given up on training puppies, and they stick to just buying grown dogs already because they cannot train a damn puppy from the ground up. They just don't. Not everybody has that. I think it's almost a gift in some ways. It's an art. Maybe not a gift. Maybe gift is not the right word. It's an art.
sticking on it for people that, because people gonna look at this video, and whatever you tell them that can be helpful for them, because everybody, like you say, it's a gift for
But
some.
if you know what you're doing, right, and you do it correctly, you do it right, you bring them up right, then I mean, just the way you're phrasing it, I'm gonna say in that case, it's probably just the dog didn't have it genetically, But like that's assuming that the way you phrased it is the person had no fault in the way they raised that puppy, the way they brought the puppy up. But in a lot of cases, people are do play a big factor. In a lot of cases, people do ruin dogs. And hog hunting, I see it all the time, man, all the time. They bring up puppies correctly. They correct puppies too harshly. Every dog is different. Not every dog, even in my own kennel, a real dog person knows the level of correction to give to each dog. Every single dog is not the same level of correction. And you need to have that. You got to be in tune with your dog to know that. You got to have some kind of relationship with that dog and know your dogs to know which ones are more sensitive to corrections, which one require more. Finding that right balance. Because too much for some dogs, you'll shut them down. So there's a lot, man. That's a good topic of conversation for you guys tomorrow to
Yeah.
have.
Would you say your Corsos are more handler sensitive or not as handler sensitive?
I would say, oh man, that's a good question. They are handler sensitive with me because I know how rough to be with them. If you are soft, if you are too soft with them and they feel like they are over you, even for one occasion, one day, one time, they are they can be very tough. That's why a lot of breeders will tell you they are for an experienced dog person,
Okay.
because that's the type of dog that can end up dominating his house. If they do not respect you being above them, if they do not respect you as their alpha, in that case, they are tough. But if you establish that early on and there's no confusion, you set those boundaries as puppies. By the time that dog grows up, respects you, he respects you as an alpha or the lady of the house is the alpha, then they are actually handler sensitive.
But they are handler sensitive. Okay.
In
Okay.
that case, though, you see what I'm saying, though, but the same
Yeah.
dog could be extremely difficult and dominate you and dominate your home if you did not bring it up correctly. You see what I'm saying? So it
Mhm.
really depends. That's one of the cases where it depends on the human, because that same man, even in I don't know. I don't want to get into too many topics. We're going long already. But I had a litter one time, right? And actually from Knight's litter. So again, he's
Okay.
like my most known dog right now.
You.
And it's a brother of Knight, and the lady that had him returned him temporarily because she was going through some personal stuff at the time. And as a favor, I told her, I would take him in. I'll house him until she gets her stuff in order. No rush. Don't worry about it. He'll be okay here. We'll take care of him. And I want to say, how old was he? I want to say he was like a year old, like just around a year, maybe 11, 12 months. Man, I had some moments with that, some Caesar Milan moments, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that dog was a tough dog, just like Knight. Knight, if you see him with me, you'd say, oh, he's very handler sensitive. I can just look at him and he knows, like, you stop that. I can just go and he'll stop dead beat whatever he's doing. I
Mm.
can say, come. He comes like, hey, like you'd be like, wow, that dog's super responsive, very handler sensitive. But that same dog, if he didn't grow up with me and was with somebody else, like the case of his brother that I just brought up, would be I guarantee you, whole different dog, because he is a hard dog. He is a very dominant male. He's got high drives, both defense and prey drive. He's not an easy dog by no means. He was raised correctly. That's the difference. His brother, who I brought in for to help that lady for a little short period of time, a lot like him. I learned a lot like him. He was not raised by me. I could tell that maybe she tried, right? I'm not. I hope she's not watching this and feel like I'm attacking her by no means. Great owner, great lady,
Yeah.
beautiful family, and she did good. She did a good job. But you gotta know, again, back to levels of correction, man. There's too harsh. There's too much. There's also too soft. There's also not enough for that particular dog, right? So in
Right.
his case, I don't think he got enough. I think he grew up in that house being the alpha of that house. He turned into the leader in his household. And based I'm not just from my experience with him, but from things also that I connected later that she had told me, and things that she was struggling with him, and then things that I saw while he was with me. So I had to work on that, man. I from day one I had to start teaching that dog, like, you are not in charge here.
Right.
And that dog tried me. And one thing that I believe in is I cannot lose to a dog,
Oh,
especially a Corso. They're
yeah.
they're,
They
they're
can. They can.
good.
They can. On the UNALIVE somebody.
Yeah,
They can
yeah,
do.
yeah.
They
They're they're
not.
they're a powerful breed. They're
Yeah.
yeah.
They can do that.
Right. So I knew, man, when he tried me, I knew I can't back down with this dog. This is like I'm gonna have to be game now. Oh man, let me tell you, he was a big boy too. He was way bigger than Knight, man. He's actually the biggest Corso I've ever seen in person. I don't know why he got so damn big,
Wow.
but he was. I tell you what, before I returned, before she came to pick him up again, like, he was there for like 2 months with us. I measured him, and he was either 30 or 31 inches at the shoulders.
Wow.
That's Great Dane height.
Wow.
People listening, that's not what my courses normally are.
Yeah, that's
That
tall.
he was just a freak. He just came out freak specimen in size. Very lean, but man, he was tall, beautiful dog. He tried me to leak. That dude growled at me, showed me teeth. When a dog that big and powerful, and you tell him no, because I raised my voice and I told him no, forget what it was, and he looked at me and he said, no, what? Who you talking to? In his doggy way. Dude, I tell you, a big part of me was like, back up
Yeah.
and try again tomorrow.
A bit. Yeah.
But I said no. the moment he wins, if he wins that battle,
Yeah.
it's gonna be uphill. It's gonna be, if not impossible, it's gonna be real tough.
Did you
To
make them
con-
noises? Did you be like Caesar? Was you like? Tss, tss, tss? Did you do
Ah,
that?
no, no, that didn't work with him, man. That did not work with him. I tried that crap. That works with my dogs that are already trained and well behaved. But that dog was like, what? Dude, scary. When you got a dog like that
Right,
and it turns on you like that, it's scary. Now people are gonna say, "Oh, I'm stable." No, not unstable. This dog doesn't didn't know me. This
right.
dog already a year old came
Yeah,
to live with me and was actually very, in fact, very stable. If I could, I don't know how much of the story I should tell because it me and him went at it. You know, I'm not sure how much I can tell, but I guess I'll say this. At one point, this dog got the better of me, and he had my arm in his mouth, right here, my forearm. And I just, my life flashed before me, bro. And you know what? Someone said rank drive. You know what, man? He he barely broke skin. I'm not gonna say he didn't break skin. He barely broke skin. Just
wow.
barely. Yeah, I mean, and we're paper. We're nothing. Saying he broke skin, that same dog later, a few weeks later, I took him hog hunting, cracked the skull of a 200 something pound boar. Never seen a dog do that in my life before. The
Wow.
200 and something pound boar, it was like 220, 230 pounds, something like that. That's that's like, even with a hammer, good luck breaking that skull.
That's
That
great.
dude crushed it after we field dressed it and all that at home.
Yeah.
It had cracked the damn skull. That boar was like, it was acting weird because we took it, we removed it from there alive to field dress it at home, and it was acting weird, like it was drunk or something. We're like, what happened to it? We don't know. Maybe the bite of the dog, they got a nerve or something. That's what we assumed, and it was that. But he had cracked the damn skull. That's how strong his pressure. So I say that to say, if he was an unstable, aggressive dog,
Yeah, he
my
could.
arm compared to a boar that size skull is nothing. He would have cracked every bone in my arm if he wanted to. He
Right.
was just telling me like, dude, you're not my boss. I'm the boss. And we were having that dispute. And you know what? I ended up winning. And it never became an issue again. After that, that dog was so never demonstrated any rank drive like the gentleman pointed out to, which could be an issue in some breeds. It is. I don't think that was his issue at all. It was just he had never been raised with real strong rules and boundaries,
Right.
um, and he's been used to being the boss. And all
Right.
of a sudden, he comes to a new home, a new place, a new yard. There's other dogs around, which he was trying to, also let them know, like, hey, I'm the big boy here. You all ain't gonna tell me nothing. He's trying to show his place in a pack, in a new pack.
Right.
So
Right.
nothing that he did tells me this was an unstable dog. This was an overly aggressive dog. Super sweet dog, actually. Super sweet. He didn't like it when I tried to be dominant over him in
Right.
that moment. That was the only time that he. And after we had that moment between the two of us, it was never an issue again. I would point at that dog, go inside your kennel. He would walk over and go in his kennel and sit and
Mhm.
wait for me to come over to pet him.
That's
Those
amazing.
things. I mean, I would feed him. He would eat out of my hand. I could grab his meat. I feed them raw, like I said, which they really love. If your dog has food aggression, feeding it raw food, gonna amp it up even more than
Right.
kibble. I
Yeah.
could grab his food, put it in his mouth. Like, sweetheart of a dog. It was just in that moment. He was this was to answer the initial question about, are the Corsos handler easy or
Yeah. Yeah.
so I would say if you do it right and you are not too soft, you raise them correctly, and they have no confusion about who's in charge. They're extremely easy to train, to handle. They're sweethearts with their people. But
Okay.
if you don't know what you're doing, if you're afraid of dogs, don't get a Corso, people.
Mm.
Because if they feel like they got one over you, it's over. You got to be extremely experienced. you gotta be like I was in that moment, and not to brag. No, I'm no Caesar Milan, but I'm very well experienced with dogs and dealing with dogs and all kinds of things with dogs. That took a lot out of me, dude. That was 99% of people would not have done what I did in that moment. And I think that's what it took to turn that dog. If I had walked away from that and let him win, would have been over.
Right.
I would have never beaten that dog. He would always have it over me. He'll listen and he'll be good when he feels like it.
Now,
You know what I mean?
so Sam's, we got a few more questions before we get out of here. Sam, I appreciate you, man. Make sure if y'all just catch it in now, make sure you'll go listen to the playback. He talked about the vest and why he don't use vest because in Florida the water makes it chances of drowning. He already talked about that one. What's more important to you, Sam, since you on a performance side, structure or athleticism?
Sorry, say that again, Jalik. What's more important?
Yeah, what's more important, structure or athleticism to you?
Well, for the in the Corso specifically, I think the two
Your
are the
lines
same.
that you're creating. For your lines that you're creating.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in my case, they correlate, man. They're both very important. But when it was structure, and what else you said?
Athleticism.
Yeah. So all my courses that I have in my program are athletic, all of them.
Okay.
The Corso itself, the breed itself, should be. I can't even say is anymore because a lot of people like the oversized, huge, useless couch potatoes. That is never what a Cane Corso was. Cane Corso, the breed itself, is supposed to be the most athletic mastiff of the mastiff breeds. They're supposed to be extremely athletic to be able to do this type of work, this type of job. So I mean that's already like that should already be a done deal.
Oh, okay, okay.
So structure to me, I would say, is very important then because the athleticism should be there, or you don't even have a Cane Corso really. So the structure is very important, Jalik, and that's another thing that nature tells you, man. Like everybody, talks about doing this test and doing that test, paper test, right? OFA and this and that, and that's all good, good, good. I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying nature tells me before they're even old enough for me to do those tests. Nature already telling me if they lack in any way in their structure. For example, I had a very good dog, great, phenomenal catch dog. A lot of people would know her. She was one of my first catch dogs that I used to start documenting my work with the Corso. Her name was Siren. That was Knight's mom. Phenomenal dog. She had
Wow.
one flaw, and it was in her structure. Her rear angulation was not correct. She was too straight. She didn't
Now,
have the correct stifle.
because I'm learning about that because I don't know about structure like that. And in my shout out to everybody in my group chat, they was bringing up real angulation. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because like I said, I don't really. I'm learning it. How did it affect performance? How did this affect performance with the angulation?
So through work, after a very hard hunt, she started to get sore.
Oh,
So as she was getting, not old because she was never old, but as she was getting older and putting more wear and tear on those joints, on those ligaments, because of the lack of reangulation, all that running, all that sprinting, all of that gripping and fighting with the boars is putting more wear and tear on these joints and ligaments that are already structurally flawed. And what started to become very noticeable is how she started to get more and more sore after
mhm.
hunts. And it started to get to the point where before she has so much energy. This dog was never tired. It got to the point where after a hunt, I would have to give her like mandatory like 4 days off at least.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Energy wise, she was good to go the next day. But structurally, that one flaw in her rear lack of rear angulation, she didn't have the rear angulation creates like this natural spring as the dog is running and bouncing and,
oh, okay,
and
okay.
doing all of those sprinting, especially when it doesn't have correct if I had a chart it would make sense. But when it doesn't have that correct reangulation, that's all just straining way more, 100% more of those joints and ligaments. It doesn't act as a spring. Like the reangulation makes it where the dog is running, it's kind of like a spring absorbing
Okay.
some of that running. You get me? But when it's like more straight, like hers was, it's just impact, 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 impact. No.
Oh, okay.
Imagine probably it would probably be like us running or sprinting or a long marathon, whatever. And you're running naturally. As you're running, you're bending knees a little bit, right? Imagine trying to run a marathon like just your knees locked, your knees locked. You'll
Oh,
be able to do it, but your knees are probably gonna hurt when you're
oh,
done. You're probably gonna be sore for a few, right? You know what I mean? It's
okay.
not correct structure and running.
Okay.
So that's how I noticed it in her. And if there's any structural flaws, nature's gonna tell you. Nate, you don't I don't even need a paper test to know that there's something wrong with my dog structure. That's why like people with hunting dogs, I got a bunch of curs right here. They not a single one of them and nobody that I know with hunting curs has done OFAs and pinheads on their dogs. Not one person that I've ever met. And if you look at those dogs, I can show you all my curs in my backyard. Beautiful rear angulation, good top lines, good front and shoulder. Everything is there.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
and it's just nature. Nature is deciding who gets bred and who doesn't. Because if those curs had a flaw and they weren't able to run and keep up with the hogs, keep up with the hunt, that's a dog that you can't use. That's a dog that's not going to be, kept around. You're going to, call that dog because it can't do the job. So without realizing it, you're calling out the structural flaws. That dog might have had the nerve to do the job, but it didn't have the correct structure to be able to keep up with the hunt. So for that reason, the hunter gets rid of it. That dog doesn't get bred. What continues to be bred are dogs with correct structure. So that's what I always say. I got no problem with the show world because that's their focus is structure, and it's very
Yeah.
important. It is with the working world as well. It's just we go about it in different ways. Nature will let you know. Nature will tell you if you got garbage, if you got crap. You don't get away with it with nature. Inside and outside. That's the beautiful thing about nature. It's gonna test the inside and the outside.
Sam, man, I appreciate you. I got like one or two more questions. We got to get out of here because we gonna have to do a part three because I never run out of questions. So
So I know it's.
what is it
I
you
started off here like, man, I don't know what to talk about with the league because we already did a long part one, and here we are, at 2 hours, man.
so Sam, what is it like? Can you tell us about like how did you besides dogs? What other interests do you have? You don't gotta tell us everything. Like what other hobbies do you draw? Do you paint? Do you sing? Like what other God given talents do you have outside of the dog world? That's my question for you. This gonna lead us up to part three because we got to know more about you, Sam. Because you becoming like this guy. Like yeah, go ahead, man. What other gifts do you
Hey,
have?
you gotta do me a favor, man. I want to do one with Lee, man. I'm a big fan of Lee.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I want to pick his brain one day on some
yeah.
stuff.
Because I got yeah, but I can say
And I want to give him some crap too, even though I respect him a lot.
yeah.
I heard Lee mention like what was it that I heard him say recently? When I was listening to some of your older stuff. I think he said the English Mastiff is way better than the Corso. Lee, come on, Lee, you gotta come visit me,
I
Lee.
set that up for the next time. So, like I said, do you play instruments? What do you? Let me ask you this: what was your favorite subject in school? Because it's something that you're doing that's allowing your dogs to produce like that. Even though you said a lot of the lines aren't necessarily the best, so it takes a different person to be able to do the performance selection and create. It's like you creating something out of a lower quality that you're saying. So what is it like? What's going on? Like, are you into MMA, right?
Um, yeah. I guess if hobby wise, my other hobby for a while was I did MMA. I got really a lot into the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I really got into that.
So you was
Um,
like Anderson Silva.
you speak too highly, my man. You speak too highly of me. No, but I got into that, as a hobby, and it's useful. I believe that every man should be able to know how to defend his family, himself,
Right,
and his family. So, I like to be, what's it called? I'm not an expert of nothing, but I'm a jack of all trades, I guess.
right.
So, but I actually haven't been doing that for a while, man, because I got some injuries from that.
Oh, okay.
So I've had to take a little break from that. Hoping to get back in it, but I've been taking a break for a while. Um, you said favorite subject in school, history, man. I love
Oh, you're a
history.
history guy. Okay, he was a history guy.
I'm a history buff for sure. I can
You're
talk
a history
history with
guy.
people. I love it. But
So
yeah,
the final question is, with the dog world being so, I would say, decisive, I guess that's the word we can use. And not only is the dog world decisive, the Corso world seems to be a little bit more decisive. It doesn't seem like it's people out there with different opinions that has the mindset of, you know what, despite our disagreements, we can still work together to make the breed of the Cane Corso better. So, what message do you have to people, and what are you planning on continue to do to make sure that, despite all this, the decisiveness, that you still create the prototype Cane Corso?
yeah, that's been a struggle, man. Is there's too much ego in the in breeding. My experience again mostly it has been with the Cane Corso, but I think from what I've seen, it's probably in all breeds. It's just human nature nowadays. Too much ego involved in this stuff. So unfortunately, there's people that will come, negatively towards me for no reason. People that I've never hurt, people that I've never talked bad about. All I'm doing with this breed is trying to improve on it. That's it. I'm trying to preserve the working side of the breed, what it was initially created for. Like that's exactly how my dogs live. The Cane Corso. Anybody that reads its history was a farm utility dog used as a catch dog in Italy. It's exactly how my dogs live here with me. So I'm just preserving that the old way of living for the Cane Corso, the old jobs that it held, and I'm preserving those working lines. So anybody that claims to be a Cane Corso breeder, and most of them like to call themselves preservation breeders, if you truly mean that, if you're truly about that, I don't understand all the negativity, all the hate towards people that are trying to do just that. Preserve the good working dog. So all I can do, Jalik, is I don't worry. I tried in the beginning, man. I tried to have mentors, and I tried even going to some club and stuff, locally, which was a drive for me. But I tried to go to some club in the beginning to meet some of these people in the show world, and just have people to talk to in the community of the breed that I was getting involved with. It's been nothing but negativity, hate, gossip. Just it's more about the people. I've noticed it's more about them than it is about the dog. So if any of them are listening, I wish they, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure my words aren't going to change anything, but I wish we could all just learn that if we really care about the breed, we're gonna need to work together in the same way that I'm still, even though I'm a working Corso kennel, I still make sure that they follow the structure, that they follow the standard that has been set for the breed. I don't say, nah, that's garbage, screw the show world people. No, I give credit where credit is due. They do something right. They set certain, structured guidelines to be followed to better the breed. And I agree with most of it. I don't agree with somehow a lot of times these standards change. I don't agree with some of that. Some of that is again human ego and politics getting involved and changing things. Why are you changing something that's anyway? But if we're all, really trying to improve on this breed, set some of that ego aside. Let's help each other out. I'm on the search for good individual Corsos, like I mentioned earlier. I'm sure there's someone out there that has created a line that's probably that I haven't witnessed yet, that I haven't had the luxury, the privilege of meeting yet. And they probably have a line that's good, that's producing already that stable, consistent, good working dog, confident dog that I'm looking for. I've just been talking about my experiences. So I want people to understand. I've been doing this 5 years. So it's not like I'm this person that's been in the breed for 30 years. I've been speaking of my experience thus far. I've been documenting my experiences for everybody to see online, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So everybody can follow, everybody can see. I'm an open book, man. They can see the actual dogs working, the actual dogs doing it.
So
And the ones,
those are real. That's not AI.
my videos are real. My videos have been going on since before all this AI crap. Yeah, yeah, man. It's gonna get to the point where like no one's gonna, no matter what you do or say or film or
Yeah.
show, no one's gonna believe you anyway. But good thing also is there's a lot of people that have come out here with me that can vouch for everything. They see the dogs work. Like I told you before, man. You're welcome anytime you're in Florida or anytime you want to make the trip.
Yeah, I have to make the trip. Yeah, I wanna meet you though. I like we do. I like what you're doing, man. I like what you're doing. Like I said, in order to replace a lot of the soft dogs, because you even admitted that a lot of dogs are soft, skittish, and not performing. You got to replace it with dogs that's better to even the balance out. You're always gonna have imbalances, but you got to at least balance it out so the hard dogs will be equal. But right now it's soft, and they outperform. They out there. It's
It's
more
all over the place. Yeah, there's plenty of people with good Corsos out there. It's all over the place. It's because people aren't breeding for work. So obviously, when you're breeding for other things, when you're breeding for looks instead of the working attributes we talked about, then obviously that side is going to suffer. You're going to start to get the look. You're going to get the unit. The Corso now has a lot more uniformity when it comes to the look compared to the 1980s.
right, right,
So they've done a great job with that because that's where the focus went. But all the focus went away from the working. So now that side has suffered. That side needs help badly. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to bring more awareness to. That's the only reason I'm so active online and showing stuff and showing video to bring awareness to that. Because then I think other breeders are gonna see it, and even if I don't talk to them, they might start their own kind of be like, you know what, I want to follow suit. I like that idea. Like we gotta protect the working side, even if I don't hog hunt, but I can test for, make sure I'm not breeding a skittish dog because I'm telling you, breeders are breeding that crap knowing that's what they're breeding. They're breeding dogs that are scared, man, that piss themselves, that furthest thing from a guard dog, and they're doing it purposely. So if I can at least, and I wish some other working people would also be, put themselves out there a little bit more
right,
because it's just gonna bring more attention to it and hopefully at least I don't think it'll ever balance the scales. We're a minority,
right,
but at least keep the working lines alive. I
right.
don't want the same thing that's happened to other breeds. Look at the German Shepherd. Look at the Boxer. If people talk about the Boxer now like it's the biggest garbage, the biggest piece of crap when it comes to work. People like when they talk badly about the Italian side of the Cane Corso. One of the biggest things that some people will hate on is that there was some boxer blood mixed into some Cane Corsos from Europe, right?
Oh,
Um, which there's definitely truth to that. There's been breeds that have been thrown in, when trying to revive the Corso because it was almost extinct. There was very few examples that they used to keep the breed alive, basically, or bring it back. Um, and sure, there was Rottweiler used, there was probably some pit bull used, some boxer, Bordeaux, some Great Dane. There's these different breeds that have been sprinkled in. Sure, nobody debates that. But I brought up the boxer because the one that people hate the most, the boxer. Why would you put the boxer in there? That's horrible. crappy dog. It's the worst thing that you could put in there. Makes no sense. People don't remember because it's been ruined so badly.
Hmm.
People don't remember what a badass dog Boxer used to be.
Hmm.
That dog was could do it all. That dog was a police dog, one of the top police dogs used at one time. A catch dog. It was a guard dog. It was
A real
everything
guard
that you
dog.
want. It was a real working dog with
Yeah.
real good nerves, good
Yeah.
structure. And it's another breed now that went down the
Most
toilet.
popular. It was one of the most popular too. Like around
No,
my
that's when it went downhill. That's the follow
boxers,
the same
pit
trend.
bulls and Rottweilers and Dobermans and German Shepherds. Those was like the five dogs, the most popular ones around my way. Yeah, boxers was definitely one of them. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
do you have any? Do you finish in touch? You got any litters coming up? How people that's interested in one of your dogs? What's the best way for them to develop that relationship to possibly be on a waiting list for you?
So they can contact me on Instagram, on Facebook. Those are perfect places to contact me because I check those daily. So I'll see your messages on Instagram and Facebook. Diamond Grit Cane Corso on Instagram and Facebook. You can also email, but diamondgritcanecorso@gmail.com. But Instagram and Facebook, I check those daily, so that's the best way.
Oh, okay.
I got two litters coming up soon, hopefully. I just did two breedings with two of my females. But again, full honesty, full transparency, man. I got nothing to hide because I don't make it a huge deal like a lot of people. I'm not a puppy peddler. I do this because I love it, and I gotta sell some puppies because it pays the damn bills, and it pays for me to be able to feed the dogs, and it pays for their beautiful kennels that I buy them, and make everything possible, right? So I do gotta sell puppies, and there's no shame in that because I love when other breeders try to make you feel like crap because you sell puppies. It's like
It's not a yeah.
so it's another angle, it's another angle. But anyway, I was gonna say, so because some people have been asking about any litters coming up, and I've been telling people like I got these two litters, they're gonna be due soon. Well, one of them should be doing like a month, and then the other one I just bred her now, and so that'll be 2 months from now. Um, but I've been telling people that are looking for a proven working litter or as proven as, because like I said, a puppy, you're never 100% on a puppy, right? No matter how proven the parents are. But anyway, I've been extra out or open with people that have been asking about this litter that I'm doing because I'm telling everyone this is an experimental. Both of them are experimental litters for me. So I'm not promising nothing. I myself don't know what's coming from this litter. So I'm still, in that phase where I'm getting all the pieces that I need, getting all the pieces that I need. These are two pieces that I need for my goals, for my vision, for my program. These are two of the pieces that God willing, I hope the puppies that I keep from these two litters are what I want, what I need for my program. And then I'm really, man, the next couple of years is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to start doing these line breedings that's really going to start pushing that consistency towards where I want it. But right now, these two litters I'm doing, each one are has at least one dog that I don't know what's going to come from it. I haven't produced anything yet with these, with the parents. So it's up in the air what I'm gonna get. So one of those with Ursa, who I've already had puppies with, and she has produced some great puppies.
Yeah,
And
also, yeah.
then yeah, she has produced some great puppies, but also produced some that didn't make it, right? And I'm putting her, but she's a phenomenal dog. So you're getting already that from there, a female that's highly proven, a game Corso. Like
Right.
that dog. I showed you the video. You, Jalik, can testify. The
Yeah.
video that I sent you where she got cut into different places from the board. She
Yeah.
never let go of that board until I
Crazy.
freaking
I couldn't
got
even
control.
I have to
And
turn it off, bro. I can't really watch that too much. That stuff is real, y'all. He sent me the receipts. You don't want to just keep looking at it. It's kind of like real, like
it's nasty. Some of it is nasty. Nobody wants to see dogs getting hurt.
yeah, yeah. They
Um,
that's that, bro.
But yeah, it's my point is the leaking. He's seen this dog I'm talking about bleeding. She barely made it from that, Jalik. I mean, it was when I finally got to the emergency bed. I think they told me she had like I forget. It was a very low percentage of blood left in her body.
Right.
Like it's a miracle she made it. But never let go. Never stopped engaging. Stayed in the fight. Stayed engaged. That's the type of test. Those are the moments. Not every hog hunt, like I said, proves your dog. Some of them are easy. A lot of them, everything goes easy. Everything goes well. Every now and then, you've got a real test where your dog's going to show you what it's really about. And she's shown me on several occasions. So she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
The male that I'm putting her to, brand new, young male. He's not even old enough, honestly, to be breeding. He's a year and 2 months old. Hasn't done anything for himself yet.
Okay.
He's from another breeder. Reason I'm using him, old Italian lines that I've had something from before. Unfortunately, I lost that dog, but
Mm.
I was very excited, man. It was very good stuff. I was very excited with that dog that I
The
unfortunately
lines,
lost.
the
So
lines
I
is
got access to her brother.
the lines that you're using is synonymous. Is a secret. You got to keep your line.
For now, man, I don't care. People don't like it. For now, you know what? People that do get a puppy from me are gonna get the registration papers anyway, and they see it.
Yeah, and
I
that's
hope
true.
I hope one of them don't post it online because
So while we had Lee just came in, what's up, Lee? Said, "What up, guys? Always coming at the tail end." So you know
uh,
what? Lee got some pit bulls.
Lee just missed all the crap I talked about him,
Yeah,
man, a
Lee
minute
got some
ago.
pit bulls. You said you want your Corsos against some pit bulls. That'd be a good battle right there because Lee probably got some pit bulls in Florida somewhere. His Soros pit bulls versus Diamond Grit. You know what I mean? We give you
I've heard a lot of Lee. I've heard Lee talk a lot about the Sorrel lines.
yeah.
One of the things I love about the Corso over the pit is their level of intellect, man. Their ability to think while engaged in combat.
So
My
you
dog, my
smarter?
course.
You said
Sorry.
he's smarter than pit bulls?
Oh my God, yes. And again, I love the pit bull, so please don't think
No, we
like
understand.
I said earlier, the pit bull is the number one catch dog in my opinion, because percentage wise, they're the biggest bang for your buck, right? They're the most proven. They've been consistently bred for work, which is where the other dogs usually lack. But I'm talking about a good dog compared to a good dog, right? One thing I've noticed is a lot of pit bulls, and I'm talking about my experience with hog hunters. Most of them use pit bulls, so I've seen many, many, many pit bulls working. Great dogs, great catch dogs, game. They're about it. They love the fight, right? Where I don't, a lot of them tunnel vision, man. A lot of them they see red and they black out. It,
Bro,
it, could, it could be a
do you
dog
have
that was
time?
listening great and then
Sam, do you have a
forget.
couple minutes? Let me see if Leah get on here because I want to hear
Yeah,
this because
we're at two and a half hours, man. Me and Lee need an episode,
we'll do
man.
it. We'll wait
Me,
though.
me and Lee need an episode. Let's save it.
So you saying that
I would
Corso?
love to talk to you, Lee. I was just telling him before you came on,
I
man.
want to learn that stuff because this is really fun to me. You know what I'm saying? You get to learn. You know what I'm saying?
When we do it with Lee, if he's down, I'm not gonna talk as much though.
Nah.
That's a man you gotta
We'll set it
listen
up.
to.
We'll set it up another day. He busy,
Yeah,
and I
no, that's better.
appreciate you.
This went on long enough. But yeah, I'm down. I'm down to do that with him. You want
Yeah, for
you
sure.
want to set that
We'll
up?
set it up so we can have this nice discussion. I can learn from both of you
But yeah,
guys.
we'll say I'll save it then. But yeah,
Yes,
there's
maybe then. Yeah,
we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of
yeah.
comparison. But I'm
And
telling you, everybody sleeps on the Corso, man. Dogo Argentino don't got shit on the Corso, bro. All these Dogo Argentino people, they don't got nothing. I'm talking about again a good example of a Corso.
I don't think you talk about Circle S because I heard Dogos is smart
I
though.
love
I
Brad.
heard
I'm not talking about
I
his
heard
dogs.
I heard
Yes,
Dogos is bro smart too though. That's what I heard.
they are. They are.
I heard.
The Dogo,
Bro.
the Dogo and the Corso are very similar. Very similar.
Yeah.
Um, very similar in temperament. In some ways, they're very different too, though. So they're not all the same. But Anyway, man, yeah, we'll save that for another day.
Anything else you want to
But
say?
I'm just saying, people sleep on the Corso because they're not used to seeing a real Cane Corso.
You gotta see.
People ain't used to the real Cane Corso. The real Cane Corso is not the dog in the show ring. That's what the Cane Corso. That's the standard for what the Cane Corso should look like. Remember that, guys. And that's good. That's all fine. That's beautiful. I'll watch those shows and admire them. Beautiful. That's the standard, the epitome of what the Cane Corso should look like. But remember that those dogs are, you can't judge them on a working line basis. A good, real working line Cane Corso, proven working dog, is a beautiful dog to see work in person, man. It's a beautiful specimen of a dog, and most people just ain't seen it. They're not used to seeing it, so I get it. They get slept on heavy. They get slept on constantly. Every dog gets put over them. Dude, I'm telling you, I've hunted with more dogos than I have with Cane Corsos.
Yeah.
I've yet to meet one dogo that that's good enough to lick my dog's toenails after a hunt. Okay? Yeah, league you're gonna get me in trouble, man.
We
But I
got
haven't hunted with Brad from Circle S, right? So
now. One
we
now.
gotta we gotta do that. We gotta do that one. Maybe he's the one that's
He
gonna.
agreed. He said he never seen a good dogo too. But okay, yeah.
Then listen, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm kind of joking, but real talk. You come over here in South Florida, talk to hog hunters, give them a Dogo Argentino for free. They probably won't take it. That's how bad of a reputation they've gotten with real working catch dog
Wow.
people. A lot of them are. They got great publicity though. They have phenomenal publicity online. Everybody online thinks they are they
I
are
got
the number one catch dog according to YouTube. All the YouTube experts will tell you the dog Argentino, forget about it. Ain't
wow.
no dog better than that. But the reality, Jalik, and I'm not saying that there aren't great ones. There's phenomenal ones.
Nah, because I think Lee is agreeing with you. Said they let go when they get hammered.
Yes. Damn, Lee knows more than I think he knows. How much does Lee go hug hunting?
Lee
I
Hunt
thought
too. Lee used to hunt, and I think Keaton
because
Temple.
that's like some inside intel right there. He just said that's for real. That's stuff people don't know, man.
Yeah,
Dogos do great until they get their ass kicked, and then a lot of them ain't about it. When they start getting their ass
but
kicked,
I'm sure it's Corsos like that, and I'm sure it's Pitbull
oh
like
yes,
so
yes,
that
of
kind of
course,
evens it out though. So you said
yes.
you
But
talking
the
about
but the but the thing with the
best
dogo is,
Corso versus the best Corso, the best versus the best, not a weaker version.
well, the best dogo and the best corso are probably gonna be very very similar. Like that's probably gonna be a tie. But what my argument is with the doggo right now, that people online think that they are this amazingly superior catch dog, when in reality, percentage wise, they're probably, I would say they're probably one of the weakest, man. One of the worst. Okay, so let's top catch dogs that you're gonna see out here being used, right? Obviously, American Pit Bull Terrier number one. Um, Conic Corso, nobody here. There's like one other person other than me using them here, and he's only got one. He's not a breeder, I know him. I hunt with him. So I can't even count myself. So we got to take the Corso's not even in that equation, unfortunately. So American Pit Bull Terrier, American Bulldog, another common one, great dog. Um, Presa Canario, also very rare. I don't know anybody that I know someone that's used it, but again, it's like once in a while he'll take it with someone hog hunting, but it's not really he's not really a proven dog. Um, but yeah, the top catch dogs, man, that you can think of, the Dogo Argentinos probably got definitely lower percentage of working in a pit bull, not even close. Lower percentage of working than an American Bulldog, not even close, in my opinion. Um, there's mixes of, we in Florida use a lot of curb mixes with pit bull terrier, like game pit bulls. Those have a much higher percentage of working than the dogos do.
You said your pit bulls. You said your pit bulls had a higher percentage than your Corsos, but then you saying your Corsos is better than the pit bulls. So something ain't added up, Sam. What's up?
No, man, you're not getting
Break
me.
it down.
I'm
Break it
saying,
down, Sam. Go ahead.
listen, if no, percentage wise,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
there's no dog that's gonna give you a better percentage wise of making it as a good catch dog than a
Okay.
pit bull terrier.
Okay.
Percentage wise, that's your best bet.
Okay.
Okay. But now what I said is if we're picking like my best Cane Corso
Yeah.
with whatever best American Pit Bull Terrier from someone whoever, I say the Cane Corso has more pros than the Pit Bull Terrier does. Because the Cane Corso, a good one, like my Mel Knight, as an example, my Mel Knight, there is nothing an American Pit Bull Terrier will do as a catch dog that Knight won't also do. He does the same exact thing. But
Yeah.
now, in addition to that, he can handle more punishment from a bigger boar. He's not going to be getting slammed and thrown around and moved at will. You know, that dog will hanker down and hold that boar there and keep the dog safer because that boar's not going to swing him around like he can a 40-pound dog. You get me? So there's more when you're they're in equal skill and mentally, equally as well. Then the physicality of my Corso is gonna make him superior. But Knight is a one in a million. You know what I mean? You can find many good pit bull terriers. You're not gonna find a lot of Corsos like him.
Yeah. We want to see a battle. I want to see you against a pit bull, like you said. I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to definitely see you against Circle S for sure. Like we gotta. I'm gonna try to interview that guy. If somebody
Yeah.
knows Circle S, let them know I want to interview him. Circle S, I want to interview him because
If
I
he,
like.
if he sees this clip the part where I talk crap about his dogos and he'll come on.
Nah, you never talk bad about him.
Nah, he seems like a real nice guy. I don't know him personally, but I love listening to other stuff he's been on. Very knowledgeable, very like he's legit. I know when people know what they're talking about and when they
Yeah,
don't. He's legit. He's legit.
yeah. Keaton Temple. I'm gonna try to set something up too with Keaton Temple for the Sentinels. So maybe you can go against some Sentinels, some top of the line Sentinels. You ready for that smoke or what? Because the Sentinel is bigger than the. You ready for that smoke, Sale? A
You know,
Sentinel.
if I wasn't breeding Corsos, I've actually thought I've thought of this before. If I ever decided, not to breed Corsos, I probably would go with I'd probably try a Sentinel. That'd probably be the first
But
thing I
no,
would
when
go
you want
to.
the smoke, when you want the smoke with them.
Yeah, man. Anyone can
Okay,
do that.
don't try to
Yeah.
get your dogs doing. Don't try to
Hey,
please. We want to see American Sentinel versus Diamond Gray.
hey,
Keaton Temple.
my boy Knight is ready for anyone can get it, bro. Anyone can get it.
Yeah, but man, once again, man, I appreciate you. We're gonna set up a part three, and then we'll have Leo on here, and I'll try to get somebody else, Keaton Temple, and some
That'll
some
be
more
fun.
people that we can have some more fun. And good luck on your new breeding, and make sure you reach out to them if you want a nice prototype Cane Corso. The breeding should be coming. You said you had two, so yeah, they should be coming up soon, and you
Yeah.
know,
I'll just end up saying this real quick
yeah,
if
go
I
ahead.
can.
Yeah,
Just for everyone listening, guys, like I come on here because I love talking dogs and I just leak, I like you, man. I like the way you think dogs. We think very similarly. So I'm having fun just talking dogs with you.
yeah.
I don't want nobody here listening, taking anything I say as gospel. Do your own research, do your own homework. I'm just shooting this shit with, another man that loves dogs, that loves working dogs. That's all this is for me. Um, agree or disagree. I'm in it for the love of the breed. I love the Corso. I love working with working dogs. I'm passionate about that. And I'm sharing my personal experiences. That's it. I'm not saying what I say is right and everything else is wrong. I'm sharing them from my perspective based on my unique experiences actually using them as catch dogs. Because even though some other breeders might have 30 years breeding, they have 0 years of doing real work with the dogs. 30 years of having dogs in a kennel. Um, I got 5 years of dogs, with dogs, but in the field, seeing them work, seeing them exposed, seeing their weaknesses exposed, seeing their strength shine, seeing where they lack. So I'm sharing with the world that side that has never been really documented in this way
Yeah, we
before.
appreciate
At least not with this breed. So I hope you all, appreciate that. Don't take anything I say like I'm nobody in this breed. I'm just a guy that loves dogs, loves working with them,
we
and I'm
appreciate you,
happy.
man. Everybody wanted to like you answered a lot of questions about this stuff. And like I said, I got the receipts. Sam, you want to see the scars. I mean, I really got some, but I'm not the type to try to prove stuff. So I'll let you handle that with Sam. But I'm telling you, I got the receipts. I don't, you
Now
know.
I'm not showing nobody that I sent. You're the only person I've sent that stuff
Yeah,
to, man. I
yeah.
don't care about.
I'm not
Listen, I
protecting
would have to be online 24/7 sending people receipts. I don't have to. I'm come over here. We'll go on a hunt. You'll have a lovely time, and you're never gonna doubt it. When you can. But I'm not gonna. I can't worry about the haters, bro. Living in a basement, just typing. They're never gonna come. I've invited people coming that never even. They're comfortable talking online. They
Oh,
don't for some reason want to come.
Lee. Okay, Lee do have a forum, and he said he can post it on his website if you really wanted to post the real gruesome stuff, and it won't get banned. So if you want to set that up, just let me know, and I'll show you how to do it. I'll get you in contact with Lee if you wanted to do that. It's up to you. If you wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah. Yeah,
show the,
send me a
it won't
link
get
and I'll
banned.
check that
Yeah,
out.
it won't get banned. You can post it up there. It's on his website. So
Okay. Yeah, that'll be cool. I'll put some stuff on there.
so
I'll
you
put
can
some
see.
stuff there. All right.
All
Thank
right,
you, my man. It was fun again.
I appreciate you, man. Enjoy
Thank you, buddy. It
the
was fun.
rest of the weekend. I appreciate you.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, man. Peace. So, chat. We'll see you tomorrow, man. Hopefully, he answer y'all questions. It's so much information. I can't answer everything. I try to answer all the questions I can, but sometimes they go left. But Sam's a cool dude, and I appreciate him. Yeah. So tomorrow I got my man God Sent Guardians, aka Aaron, aka A Reezy. He has 2 Sentinels in a Patterdale. He was like, "Yo, is it the dog or is it the handler?" I said, "You know what? Let's go live tomorrow at 9 o'clock." So Monday, tomorrow, July 27th, I will be back tomorrow. I told y'all I'm starting to do 3 lives a week. I got tomorrow, and I got to do another one probably Wednesday or Thursday. I got something for next Sunday. A trainer going to be on here, and I got something for next Thursday. Another decoy and a trainer. I got some bangers out here. I got people helping me get people on here. It's getting crazy. And like I say, we're going to learn a lot of stuff because I'm going to ask them the regular questions, and that's where we're going to go. So I look forward to these next guests that I have going on there. And of course, tomorrow I have Aaron, somebody up here to kick it with me. And if you ever had a topic, Jaguar to Banddog at gmail.com. Once again, Jaguar to Banddog at gmail.com. If it's a nice topic, I'll be glad to talk about it. And I'd even let you come up here. You know what I'm saying? I don't gatekeep the seat. I just be the host, but you can talk and speak your mind and get it is because the name of the game is to bring the hard dogs back. But I appreciate y'all, man. Peace.